I'm waiting for Samaita. I'm going to Samaita. BhukuReBenzi. BhukuReBenzi. I'm going to Samaita. BhukuReBenzi today. Settings. Front. Okay, right. BhukuReBenzi. Pano head woman banaba. Samaita ndipi ngoma.
Andrew boy thanks ndiwe 1 second ndikuyeva.
Ndipo ngoma.
Zama message amvatanga ngoyo chingopinda pa live chete. Ngoye senga ndega pana pa phone panapa ka. Apana changa istabika waize. Right, ndauya. Good afternoon. Ngimuri kumamona zirika kuti afternoon.
12 o'clock midnight ngoma.
12 o'clock midnight ndo pamafunga izvi. Manje isi zvatinotaura zvinovhumutsa ka hope zichauyera apo.
Ngoma mundigone ngoma maita mudiki ngoma.
All right. Anyway, totanga zvidu zviri light zvitozoenda zvedu kune zvakasimba tozoenda kuhard material.
Andi ngoma ndikutwasanudze ngoma.
Anditi right. Inini anditi ndiri member pa group panapa. Anditi saka inini panapa nichabvunza sezvichi imi muri michi vanhu nikavaridzi vari kurana nekumaneja group rineri nekumaneja madebate anoitwa panapa. Anditi inini question yangu inini anditi ndeyekuti inini ndiri member panapa. I was invited to join a debate. Panapa debate yaitwa nemi ndimai hosta anditi pana sinyoro pane kaparodi kanga mukadzi kake kanonzi kuda kaiga anditi you were hosting the live anditi kuda akataura pa live no andika apedza kutaura chomuti microphone yavapo ini nditaura chida kuti nditaure kudai so she was stampeding all over everything what I was saying pasina way anditi yekuti zvondiise word yangu imimi my chair nigreen live yachona you lost control of the live iye akatora power racho anditi of which was in bed kuti atora power achitaura anditi but inini as far as I'm concerned iye wachona anga aripo palive pachona ipapo zvainzizvo she's not a member arikuda kutotira kuti tazive kuti tete member one sinyori vangu varipo is not yet a member vaitonetsekana nekutobvisawo $30 yavo inini yangu $30 yangu ndakabvisa but paipaika kuda akakomanda akatizvo bvisai that dogging bag that barking dog palive inei masimba munhu ngaadonedzwe iwe live yako ndakadonedzwa nini anditi just because it in a different opinion it's supposed to be a debate. We're not supposed to agree on anything. I'm allowed to disagree. And I feel like I was abused per platform banap as a member. Ndichibviswa anditi nevanhu vari vasitombori members anditi ndakabviswa ndakaenda ku backstage anditi ndakatanga kuselegwa off ndakaiswa ku backstage iwe uripo papo pa live apa pa control your debate vakataura vakaisa mapoints avo avaiti varida kuisa ivo just because ini ndaitaura zvinhu zvanzviri against ivo anditi vakavhurirana vakataura zvavaida kutaura ivo vataura ini ndakatanga kutopopota ndiri backstage iwewe semunhu aitohosta iwoka obvious waitondinzwa ndichitojamuka because ndaitojamuka kutopopota kutoshaudha cheko ndiri kuseri uko ndichida ngoprovoka chitoti vaite sei vandidzore mukati manditi iwo manje ovha watanga kuteya nditi kuti panenge wanzokuenda kuda kutuka papeovha da kusikovhurira kuti ndisikopinda mulive nedzungu ndichida ndishaudha kana ndazvimakisa nditi but manje inini manje azisezoti nditoriwo very very calculated ndadzora ndachinja giya kana ndasvika papeva kandoda ndachinja giya ndakutaura kuti okay ndadawisa point yangu zvisiri izvo zvaari kuda kuti zviitike uri kunzwa then ovha tase ovha wandiburitsa futi saka ini chandoda kuvhunza ndechotizvo is this how you run your debates because kwandiri ninika it looked like ungechika It was all scripted. I've never come here. I don't want to lie. I've never done a live with you from kutanga kuziya kwandakakuita until today. Inenge iri scripted. Anditi handisati even kanyanga pandoya panapa. I don't think that there's a day that I've sat down with you and said, no, you say this, you do this. But that one there, I felt like it was calculated, it was planned. Because at the end of the day, you played dead. Wakabva wazoclaima kuti wanga wakarara. No one saw you sleeping because you're off camera, but it's your word. You said that you were sleeping, and she said that you were sleeping, but inina iye teseka tanga singakwanisi kukuona. Saka inini ndoda kuti izvo ndo maconductiro amunoita here malive panapa ekuti izvo vanhu vanouya panapa ocontrol. Then if it's a debate, poitwa sabotage yekuti izvo just because munhu ari kutaura zvinhu zvakadai so izvi zvatisiri kuda kunzwa kuti zvisiri kuenderana nezvinhu zvataplana panapa, munokwanisa kumuisa kubackstage uku, then abuse that person ari kubackstage. Ndio first question yangu. Da kuziva marights angu inini semember panapa.
Okay, thank you very much. Chokutanga, I'm going to apologize with an explanation. I promised you one-on-one. Then Magashkapana Koda. Then 1 year be able to trade. Then I lost control. Right? Mkoma, I'd like to apologize for breaking the promise. I wouldn't get a one-on-one name. If I made a mistake, I'm sorry. So one thing I would like to say, there's what you know, and there's what you think. You have showed me that you know. Me, Samaita, and Mukuma Masimba. Ticket a live video is scripted. That's what you know. That is my relationship with you. So you are simply confirming with Mpana Wangu. I just my script based on what you know. So what you think, now you think I scripted that show na Kuda Kutiku Bombay. Your thinking is wrong. I did not script anything na Kuda. Right? So in power, just because you know what you mean and it in script, but at least you're now doubting that is your thinking, which is very wrong. I never scripted anything. Right, that's my answer there. Then BhukuReBenzi, I'm writing a book looking for my mother. This book I'm dedicating to Mr. Mawere. Mr. Mawere taught me there's nothing called a Zimbabwean. To make it an hour now. So I'm proving to Mr. Mawere that we are writing that there's nothing called a Zimbabwean. Saka kesi tiri mapenzi mdara kusana kwa kucheti. The way kudiyaka rana show yachu, au pateka show yangu. Akaenda kwa ataka imi. Akangangwa kudwa tuti ndampa mkana kutara neni. Because she also wanted to ask me questions. Then she went to attack you. So now, BhukuReBenzi, I'm going to answer question about ndochi Zimbabwe, ndochi Benzi ya chichi. Ini watu natadza basa. Kudwacha kutokana nemi, ibi mwacho makulu so focus mpano wami. If you don't want to talk to me, I'm going to go. Because ndakakupromise imini one-on-one. Makasvika makona kudaripo. You had the right to say, I'm going to excuse myself. But makaramba muripo cheti. Ndochi Benzi ya tofuti chocho. So imini, you could have just left with no mpano wami. Then go one-on-one level. So you showed me that you are not men enough to stick to what you want. Nongota zviripo mimi. Pana kuda mungoripo, makutotukana, makupindurana, but the show was supposed to be for you. So I'm proving a point again on my way with three mapenzi. You make it what Benzi papa dimi. Right. That's my answer there.
All right. Answer I disagree with that. Because you got one chakatika panichotezo, you I think to not remember. And akugarira kuda. And sakanganotizo kudaga anakutanga ku ataka inini achita direct inini. Kuda aitaura nyaya yake yekutizo aipraise maponga. Achidhisa Mawere. in my opinion wasn't based on attacking Kuda. And then I was just trying to stress a point. Yekuti zvo Maponga lied. Iye disagree with kuti Maponga didn't lie. Then she started attacking me. Saka as far as I'm concerned, and I was still waiting for you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, and for you to regain your control and say kuti okay, kuda takunzwa zvako zvawataura, signor takunzwa zvako zvawataura, flow yenyu Samaita yezvatakudaidzirai chitaurai. Saka if I had ran, then you had the right of calling me a coward. And I'm not a coward. And iwewe paunoti ndopenga ndepekuti I stood up for my rights. Unzwa? I stood up for my voice. Those people, and the platform as far as I'm concerned is for design people gain a voice. It's educational, empower in a way, although it's empower in a funny way. But it actually does that. Saka if I had ran and left, I would have lost my voice. I would have lost my power. I would have lost myself trying to please you. That's the reason why I stayed on that line. Because I thought that at some point you're going to regain my reins. Or conduct a debate very fair and square. Saka ininika kana kuti ndopenga ndiri kupenga kwangu kwandakaita was to have hope trust yekuti okay, you are going to regain your reins up. I didn't know kuti you're going to be buried by Kuda.
Okay.
Because you kuti utore position yekutoti upotora position yekutoti upote chicheyaka a debate you should know kuti unofana kuuya padebate yoskocheyaka usingapike masides ende wakasimba zvekuti over pawi wakaona uchiova pawi wafanga zvakaitwa zvazvo unenge uri weak ende unenge usiri suitable kutoti utore position iyoyo uhoste sachairperson because it would look like you are biased. It looked like you're biased, handiti kuti okay pako paunozongongwarira iwewe handiti paakuzongoti automatically uzongomuka uzongoti handandakataren hatikuziva zvikuitika but ezvino zvinhu zvese zvakaitika zvese every step neevery move uri kuziva handiti saka apa pakaita selective pane zvinhu zvauda kutora serious nezvinhu zvosinotora serious. This is why you made me feel like one, you were biased, two, it was calculated, and three, it was probably green. Because that Kuda woman there kept on saying kuti paanenge ajomba nemafacts ovati aiwa ita kuti sinyoro vataure sinyoro ngavauye vataure sinyoro ngavauye vataure even nyangwe iri 10 yangu mandipedzese even nyangwe iri 10 yangu yekuti nditaura nditi iwewe wachona unga uchitodhavhitwa nakuda wachona kutonzi now is sinyoro is 10 ovha apa sinyoro mike ovha watondijamba saka wanga usina control neuchairperson kwandiri zvinoita kuti ndifunge kuti you are not suitable kutoti uve uchichair any debates.
Okay, thank you very much. Samaita tachiona Mdara Mawere ndiye manimento. Mdara Mawere, how are you Mdara? Let me just unmute Mdara. Hello Mr. Mawere.
How are you?
Oh, hello sir, how are you?
How are you, Samaita?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
Not too bad.
Good.
Okay, Mr. Mawere, thank you for joining.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have a shared understanding with my brother Samaita here. Samaita is a fully paid member of C2C.
Yeah.
In Samaita, I promised him a show, one-on-one with Mkoma Masimba about BhukuReBenzi. Then on the day of the show, Samaita came, then Kuda, it also sent questions like Samaita. So I came up with an idea to use one stone and kill two birds. So I brought Kuda and Samaita. Then Kuda, she overtook the show and she ended up attacking Samaita, forgetting the moment of the chance was for Kuda to face and ask me about BhukuReBenzi. My $30, what is C2C? Then they started to attack each other. Then I lost control. Then I slept. I left them talking for hours. Now Samaita is angry with me. Then I told him, okay, I'm gonna give you a chance again. He's here now again today. He's blaming me for not being fair. He's now accusing me or alleging that I scripted a show with Kuda to damage him. But Samaita is telling
To
me,
damage me and to protect Maponga.
okay,
Because
Samaita
this
is
is
showing
kika
me,
off. When I said one word, what Maponga said was a lie, then everything kicked off.
right now Samaita is showing me that he does not have communication skills. He's showing me BhukuReBenzi. I know interrupt machitaura. Right? So Mdara, now
I'm correcting
Samaita,
you because I'm not going to let you get on like that.
so now Mdara, I'm here again. Nemi panapa. Ukushowa ukuthi Mdara. Tese tile mapenzi Mdara. Kusala kwenu. Why ndikudaro? Samaita apinda pashow. Samaita aona pana Kuda. Samaita number one. Arikuziva kuti show ndeye yake na masimba. He was supposed just to say no thanks, I will drop. Oramba akamaintaina value yake. But akaramba achiita tina Kuda wacho. Kusvika kusimba wacho arara. Akublema inini. Ada kuti inini ndisitope Kuda kumataka. Iye has to take action to speak for himself and to say, Simba, I'm not here for Kuda, I'm here for you. Let me drop and I can join you next time. Ana kudaro akaramba alipo cheti apedza kudaro akublema inini. Can you see Mdara kancheti yai tese tine mapenzi? He does not even understand what is C2C. He thinks C2C is me because I'm boasting. He thinks C2C is my way. He does not know he is C2C. So Mdara ipapo pane basa Mdara ndakutubudaidza Mdara. What's your take?
But if you look at the facts and objectively, do you see a problem that you created?
I see a show that I created because I wanted to
Not
prove
a
it.
show. These are not animals. They are human beings. And the person who convinced agrees to be a part of a show cannot escape from that obligation. It's called abdication, because you invite me to soccer, then there's netball. Why invite me and give me a wrong promise? If the promise is to talk and Kuda is supposed to be part of the show, then tell me in advance. And if you tell me in advance, I may elect not to be part of it. And the order and structure, the power to reason and free will was only reserved for human beings. So you reason, you know that Kuda and Maponga were at one in vilifying and demonizing Mawere, the person you call your mentor. And then imagine I'm a Muslim, I go to the Catholic Church. Then I take the Quran. And the priest says, verse so and so. I said, I don't have the first. I start reciting my own chosen verse of the Quran in a Christian system. What am I trying to do there? I must know better. All you was asking, if Maponga comes on your platform and lies, should it be up to Mawere to say he's lying? If Maponga says he knows the truth and he knows the person is already there that has lived the facts that he thinks he knows, do you need Samaita to be there? What kind of a mentee would not want to learn and say, okay, Samaita, here we are. The world is divided because of lies. Now we got a lie here that says Mawere is a fugitive. And what does Samaita do? Sends the screenshot to Kuda during the show. And what did Kuda say? I don't want to read an alternative version that contradicts what I believe to be the truth and what Maponga believes to be the truth and expresses so. And you are there, you are a referee, and the ball is offside. And you tell people to count it as a score. Who needs a referee then? Is it Samaita who is a problem? Or the author of the problem is the one who wants to be everything to everybody? That I just want to have a show for the sake of having a show. Remember the reason I contacted you saying Norman Ngwenya, he say Mawere is all over. He says he agrees with the judgment. Do you really need me to talk to Ngwenya? Because you are the person that Jesus left. So that you don't have to recall him to come and explain what he meant. After downloading a judgment,
Mr. Mawere,
it's up to you. Now, so Samaita has got a point. Even a point not to participate anyway.
On a point of order, Mr. Mawere.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Mawere, BhukuReBenzi, the author and Rebenzi. Then I told you, Mr. Mawere, you are the only one as Rebenzi. But in Pana Honorable. Then I promised Samaita a show. He agreed, one-on-one. I promised to Kuda a show. She agreed, one-on-one. Then I brought both of them at the same time. Then I kept quiet. None of them.
No, with their consent, with their knowledge and consent that they were going to end up there, two elephants meeting at a ground with no address.
Can you imagine?
Huh? No, you are not. Don't call people and then use a refugee of Benzi. Then you are making everyone Benzi with you.
Just because you're okay to be a Benzi, and you think everyone's okay to be a Benzi. In Zonzi Masimba, I still have got one question, and Papa, you are ducking. You are trying to play clever, but not being smart. I wanted to use you to fight my battle. At first, I didn't come there to fight. I came there for a debate. Where you introduced your show, Anedika. You gave Kuda a chance to speak. She spoke for about 15 minutes. We're all quiet. The minute I opened my mouth, she started distracting and being disruptive. Iwewe sezvo wairana show apa pamunhu wandikutaura naye wanditojusa kwaari haasitombori-member atotsvaga kuti taite member handiti ini ndakazvibata semember handiti ndakati my chance is going to come handiti my chance came. I couldn't put a word in. Kuda ordered you to drop me off the live. She ordered you akati visadzikisa imbwa. You dropped me. I was so biased. You dropped me. Disina kuisa kana word. Then on the Zora Papa, for me to listen to Kuda. When it's my turn to listen to Kuda and Senior, when it's my turn to speak again, I get dropped. Then matondi drop out moto charoti imbwa ngaihukureru. I didn't remember. Ndazotena ndazeta imbwa. Ndakuhukura ndakukeju. Saka obviously ndatadza nekufunga kuti izvo magara makazvironga. Because you automatically no one two vasiri mamember. Makutowana power rekutondibvisa muchindiisa muchindibvisa. Iwo rutoodwa iwewe. Nemunhu asitomboremember munhu atanga kuuya kuti dzikisa Samaita. Why iwewe kana ungori fair independent adjudicator kana kuti chairperson why usina kuisa marules ipapo kuti panapa it doesn't work like that. Munhu auya achinzi zvanobvisiswa kana kuti anonyararidzwa nesei yake pamusika pekuti iwe waudzwa zvinhu zvausiroda kuudzwa.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mawere, say, I want to make a presentation to you, sir. Number one, he is not listening to me. Number two,
I'm asking you a question. That's a question. I wasn't answering to you. I was asking you a question. How am I supposed to listen to you when I'm asking you a question? You're supposed to listen to me.
But Mukoma Masimba, the rules of engagement is that you are talking to Samaita. He has asked questions relating to his experience. And he says, I am a member.
On a point of order, say.
Yeah.
On a point of order, thank you. Say, number one, I'm struggling with my brother here. Communication skills. He's talking too much. He's interrupting. Please.
No.
Mr. Mawere.
But who are you to say he's talking too much when you are talking as well?
Mr. Mawere, on a point of order. Say, I have a point to prove here. My point is simple. BhukuReBenzi, that's what I'm doing right now. BhukuReBenzi Kudaro, the invite I'm coming for one-on-one.
I mean, maybe we need to go back to that. BhukuReBenzi, it doesn't say you are Benzi. It says book in the eyes of this fictitious Benzi.
Yes.
So why do you have to just write the book and draw lessons from there and say, how many times do people call you without thinking about why they are calling you? You end up creating enemies between people.
On a point of order, say, Mr. Mawere, allow me to finish. Please.
All right.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mawere, the invite Samaita ku BhukuReBenzi one-on-one. The invite Kuda ku BhukuReBenzi one-on-one. Vese ndawa promise one-on-one. Then I played it smart.
No. But when you say one-on-one, is there a shared understanding of? Yeah.
In my point of order, Mr. Mawere, I want to finish. It's a very big point here. Right? That invitation, right? Confirmed, a one-on-one. What did I do? I opened the camera, then I brought two of them one time. I wanted to learn something. You booked me for one-on-one. What you promised is not what you delivered. They continued on the show. They can go the right. I know my pains. Kachiti my pains kutuka. They can go to Doma Zimbabwe in Manjaya. Wadaru, nakaba gira sing or 40 papa. Wakaramba wali papa show. Narara song. Nakarara mdara show. Nakaseka na dogoman. Vesi na wa promise ama one-on-one. Senior watch. Maybe watch. Nakuda watch. 1-3. But wako nita na weke papa. Nakaseka na yeah. Mr. Mawere, I've learned from you. Kuti order in structures. Never promise one-on-one. Never invite a visitor 1 or 3. Wakuto popoteza na papa nakaseka that I've learned mdara. That's the point I want to put to you, Mr. Mawere. Please.
Okay, can I interrupt you for a second? All right. Number one is it's rubbish. I think you're not man enough to admit where you fucked up. And it is why don't you taste that? Why don't you so? Why so? In any pandakashika papa, usafunga to tokaita clever or tokaita smart. In any as a member, wakao and new member, yomunadaku join. So I had to listen. And then the keep papa life, papa, kundukura kizotini mapengera angu a bit different panagwa. And now go challenge us or to challenge us suppose there's a topic and got chita series. That's a topic yama wearing and namaponga. Why would I want to derail the topic? I wanted to stick on the topic. But as soon as I finished that live there, I came in your inbox. For the past 4 days, I've been challenging you. We need to have a debate about this. But right now you're talking like this was all your idea and you dragged me. You've been running away from me for us to talk about this issue here. Past 4 days, 5 days.
Over to you, Mr. Mawere.
You've not initiated this. I told you
Samaita,
that you dealt with this here. Very unfair. I feel Kuninga, you treated me unfairly. We need to talk about this. I need to know how this group functions.
hello.
Yes, Mr. Mawere. Over to you, Mr. Mawere.
Yeah,
I have a
I
phone. I
think
have a signal.
there are there are 2 points. Samaita is raising a different point, and you are raising a different point. So the first point that Samaita is raising is he didn't come to the show with the knowledge that you had. At no point was it expressed to him. Secondly, that what his experience was not what he would expect. Then you are, in your defense, you are saying, guys, the reality of life is we end up being invited to meetings, experiences, and we spend a lot of time without ourselves asserting our sovereignty and our independence and our free choice to be or not to be associated or not to be associated. That is a sovereign right. And both parties were invited to a dummy. They played along like we all do. For 40 years, Zimbabwe has been played a dummy. One character says, I'm a president. I know better than all of you. And becomes a president for 37 years with no clue as to what a president is, whether a president is a leader or not. There are many people who started independence with a lot of hopes, but they played along and said things will get better, sanity will prevail, and kept on being part of debates going nowhere. Yet they had the free mind to decide when to jump, when to do something differently. Is it not all too familiar, Samaita, that we are gullible? We can be invited for soccer, then end up watching rugby, and we finish the whole duration of the game without anyone noticing there is an injustice in it. So when Mkwama Masimba is saying we are not taking cognizance of signals, that there's something wrong. I just wanted to check whether Samaita is a member will be able to assert his membership to say, I'm sovereign. It's me who is C to C, not Mkwama Masimba. Whether he's there or not, the show will go on. If he dies, the show will go on. Because what we are here to do is to build community power around this nonsense. That one individual can call us, and we come because of the individual, not because of what is to be discussed. The day before, Samaita, you listened there, you watched there, you saw Maponga performing, taking you to Puyaneanda as if he was there, taking you to culture as if he's the face of culture. You saw Signoro there, pretending that he is the universe of knowledge, universe of wisdom, that he is the address of thinking, that C to C is a scam. You listen to Kuda telling you that you guys are being waylaid, you are being bamboozled, you are being confused to join something that is not right. And Mkoma Masimba is becoming a cheerleader, telling people join, pay $30. They're saying, why should I pay? Then an animal in the zoo says, why should I pay for food in the zoo? But without human beings, there's no zoo. Without money, there's no zoo. How many people want change, but they don't want to give up anything to secure it. Isn't there a lesson to be learned, Samaita? But it's not about Mkoa Masimba. It's about you and I. How many times are we diverted from doing what we need to do to show that when we are united and diverse, we are stronger than when it is just an individual operating in a silo? How many people tell you you associating with Kumkoma Masimba, yet themselves they're associating with prostitutes and call them wives?
Thank you, Mdala. Samaita, what's your take?
Yeah, and pane zvimwe zvandambopotsa zvangu time yangu ndichinetswa nemakozi, but zvinhu zvataurwa ndazvinzwa zvangu ndisingazivi kuti panga ndasvika inini pandadistractwa paipa kuti ndandapedza kustressa point yangu, because iwewe handiti wazoita come across kutoti waita kunge zvinonzi wataura kutoti okay, so you manage to set up iwewe a skit pawakazoisa green handiti sinyoro futi wakasanganisa inini nakuda nauyo handitika saka kwauri iwewe ranga rato skit. Saka again aitika kutaura kuti zvo wanga usina kurongeka pane topic yanga iripo, because topic yanga iripo yanga iri very very sensitive, inokosta mareputation, inokosta vanhu, anoitika mawords aisenzeswa paisenzeswa dangerous, paisenzeswa fugitive, anoitika iwewe you decided to clown that all up, make it a clown, then just sit back and laugh, which means that as long as I figured out whatever the show went on, you're busy laughing. And when all this sabotage, all this abuse was happening, and debate now, I still remember, just as my eyes and you were sleeping was wrong. And wakazvironga saka kwandiri nini chii chaunonditi ndotadza nei kuti nditoti this was scripted and you shifted this conversation kune favor yawaida kuti tiende conversation inei. You deliberately shut me up here, but uchisenzesa zita rasinyoro nakuda kutoti vaitonge ndo vari kundishut up, but iwewe ndiwongori against my views angu andaitaura iwewe because ndo angatori maspika ako anakuda, but you thought that you are playing it smart by pretending to sleep and let them speak for you. Saka, how wrong am I?
Thank you, Samaita. Right.
Samaita. You were calculated. This was a calculated move.
Thank you very much, Samaita.
You confirmed it yourself.
Can I talk?
Yeah, go on.
Thank you very much.
I think Pani Radio has been very, very loud.
I'll mute him, Dara. Okay, Samaita. Number one, I'm writing a book. BhukuReBenzi. The title of the book. I'm looking for my mother. In this book, I have my mentor.
I've heard that 1,000 times. You keep on going in circles. To pick up I want to see some diverting tactics. Stop going in circles. I've heard about you being a boss, you writing a book, BhukuReBenzi, mentor Mr. Mawere. You're looking for your mother. 1,000 times now.
Thank you very much, Samaita. Right. So now, you need a point to prove Mawere. What am I learning from Mawere? Number one, I learned one thing. People can join a community and they don't even know what is the community. What are they joining for? I don't go join a chit. I don't go join a chit. My group or my WhatsApp can go join a chit. So I'm proving to Mr. Mawere. Kuti one night, Mr. Mawere, Samaita nakamu promise nakabuka one-on-one naye. Kuda nakabuka one-on-one naye. Sinyo nakabuka one-on-one naye. But because ndikuziva kuti these are Zimbabweans. Mawere are not here. There's nothing called Zimbabwe. So ndakamushowa Mawere kuti Mawere are correct. One ndabuka waniwa Mawere. What did I do? Ndakavaonza kweseka one. The only question I was waiting, Mukoma Masimba, why did you lie to me? Why manditi one-on-one mandisa pane vanhu? No one said that. Vakabva vatokontinue vakatotaura for 4 hours kusvika ndarara zvangu ndisati ndakaseka that Mawere was correct. There's nothing called a Zimbabwean. Zvamakaita Samaita ndochiZimbabwean. Maiva nepower yekuti mufana wami handitwe izvozvo wandipromisa one-on-one. But hauna kushandisa power yako.
Ndizvo zvachona zvandakaita. Hakuna kuda kunyenya. Ndizvo zvandakaita. Then you pretended kuti I was sleeping, I didn't see anything happening here. And then ndabva ndaka kuinbox kwako. Ndakakuvhunza over and over for the past 5 days. You failed to give me an answer. You refused to come on a live. You ignored my messages. Iwe zvandikutaura zvine proof. Ende ukuziva kuti ndikutaura chokwadi. Saka pautoti ndakuchallenge, you trying to make it sound nice and look nice. Boss tipamberi panapa. But you know the facts. And especially you are lying again. Boss patanga kuita live vine watanga neku apologize yo. Ukatora kuti no, I was wrong. Apa zvandakaita papa I miscalculated the whole thing. Ezvinezvo akuita damage control manje wakuti I had planned it. It was a skit. Urikuona? Saka there is nothing that I'm going to get from you, isn't it? Right now you're playing mind games. You're going round and round and round in circles. I'm not here to play a game. I'm here as a member. I'm challenging you right now. Okay, saka kana remember panapa. Zvinofamba zvakadai because I'm a new member. Ndakuziva kuti ramangwana sazoita same problem is a real okay. But again ndakasakuvhunza ukasandiudze zvinezvi pajekerere kuti okay, ndizvo zvatinoita izvi ndomuitiro watinoita uyu. Iwe uchitaura wega neconfirmation yako. Tomorrow ndakada kutanga kuda kuzozviita izvozvo zvindokurova neshamhe yako ka. Uchatendereka wondiudzira kuti hatina mvura tambotaura izvozvo. Saka ezvinezvi kuavoida kuti utaure kuti kudai suppose kutoziva I might use it against you pambera.
Thank you, Samaita. Mr. Mawere, right, I want to present to you. Pane challenge iri panapa. Yes, C2C. Munhu anojoina like Samaita. Mari yake yobhadharwa. Kuda hasajoina. But vari two vakangofanana. Samaita has to show the C2C side. Has to buziya chaakajoina chacho. Has to buziya what is C2C. Arikungoita sakuda asina kutombojoina.
No, you're speaking for me right now. When you mention my name, don't tell me what you think I can do, what I cannot do, what you think I'm thinking. Ask me a question if you're not sure. Don't speak for me.
Mr. Mawere, as we can see, any challenge one communication. That's why I asked for kunzwisisa.
Communication to whose standards? To whose standards? Mawere, to your standards.
So Samaita is a C2C member, but he doesn't know what is C2C, just like Divine. Kuda is not C2C. Na Samaita wakangofanana. Mr. Mawere, I've learned and learned, and I'm learning again. That's my presentation to you, Mr. Mawere. I'll come back to you, Mr. Mawere. Kawona, imi Mawere, what I know is amuna pamakaita corruption, amuna pamakaita ZANU-PF. You were just in business. But what the people think, just like Samaita, he knows Mkoma Masimba. He knows Mkoma Masimba. In Samaita, what he knows, and anything is scripted. He confirmed Namasimba. We don't do any script. We do real.
Can emphasize on that? Can we taking the scripted as a human being, as a person, and it was BhukuReBenzi is the script.
Mr. Mawere.
But can my life edu at no conductor. Whenever we ever go deeper, question time, what seat, we never script nothing.
Mr. Mawere, Samaita is a testimony to show Masimba is improved. Masimba haite script na Samaita. Right? Then the same Samaita, I would hear Masimba, I think na kuda makandi scripter. Ariku focus nezvanofunga, which is called propaganda. Like averenga kuti Mawere akaba mari, ndakana zvibeliever. But what do I know? Ndakangowerenga Herald. Mr. Mawere, this is my presentation to you as your student. Thank you, sir. Your turn.
Why do I say it was scripted? Because you took my voice out of me. You took my voice away from me. You took my voice away because you were conducting the live. You were the chairperson. Ipapa. Iwewe wakaodwa kunzi undidzinge palive, wakandidzinga palive. Saka kana ungori independent anditi ka referee anoudzwa here neplayer kunzi buritsa munhu, then obvatopa munhu red card kuti iye anoona tackle yaita munhu onoti tackle pamagwaro emarules nemaregulations ebhora haibvumidzwe, iyi ndio inoita kuti ndiburitse munhu. Why didn't you bring me back iwewe? Oti ngaataure uyu akazvimirira kana uri chairperson. Handisi kutaura kuti uri Masimba, uri chairperson wedebate.
Mr. Boweri?
Yeah.
Over to you, sir.
No, I see there is a point that you need just to reflect on and review, and building a community requires communication. It requires introspection. Just for you to think about the purpose and outcome. What is the point of having a debate with people whose minds are already made up without allowing a balance of it, so that those who are for something can also talk to those who are against something? So when you chair any meeting, you must allow somebody to motivate their issue and have somebody answer to those issues. And then the person who motivates will then be able to close by replying to the issues that are raised, as a way of showing that BhukuReBenzi is about lessons, real life lessons, about how to conduct debates, not to divide people, where you end up Signor Kuda and you are on one side, and then Samaita feels he's being made up to be a fool, when he is not a fool. Had he known why he was invited, if you wanted him to be a stooge, then you tell him so, that I just want an ornament to come here.
Thank you.
And Samaita is making a point that in life, it is always important to be fair, that every voice must count, but it must count so that other voices can also be heard. But if the person sleeps on the job, imagine you're driving a bus with 80 passengers, and you chose to sleep while pretending to be driving. What is it that you expect when you wake up? If you wake up.
Mr. Boweri, on a point of order, say, I object with an explanation. Number one, Samaita had an agenda with me one-on-one. Kuda had an agenda with me one-on-one. Signoro had an agenda with me one-on-one. Then I said, I want to test these people. Who is going to remember the purpose of this life? Samaita forgot to take responsibility to say, young man, you promised me one-on-one. Kuda forgot to take responsibility. Signore forgot to take responsibility. Then I just laughed. I said, okay, I'm gonna be quiet. That's why I slept, because the agenda is one-on-one. I'm coming Masimba BhukuReBenzi. Then I bring 3 people. Ndara, that is Zimbabwean.
Yeah,
Star,
okay.
right?
Thank you.
Ndara,
Thank
as
you.
I'm talking right now, I'm being interrupted. before I finish my point. Can you see, Mdara? I'm proving a point to you. If I had invited you, Mawere, you were going to say, Simba, no. But I want to show you, Mdara, Samaita is a member of C2C. He failed to take action. Kuda is not a member. Senior Alutandi Padarimali. But the very three,
Chef Ice.
we are all the same. Mdara.
Yeah.
I am the
Chef Lemon.
boss. I am the judge. I have a point to prove. Please give me my point.
All right, chinzonzwe kamasimba. Andika, you are wrong. What you are saying. One. Andika. Number one, wataura ti inina I had an agenda. Andika. I had an agenda to have a topic with you. Andika. Iwewe you chose kuisachi vangu vanhu oitachi topic yese skit. Andika. Iwewe you are claiming kuti so inini I lost control and I lost the topic. But I did not do that because Nina did not change. I stuck on the topic. I asked a question that was never answered. And you took my voice away from me. So how did you expect me to stick on the topic when I'm off the live? When you have caged me? You used terms as a cage. He's been caged. How did you expect me to talk about the topic in this live? I don't want to talk voice now. You took my voice away. If you had left my voice and if you had left my opinions there, undopanga chikwanisa kuzoenda paposition yekuti ndakaluza track handina kuluza track wakandiluzisa track. You diverted me wakandiendesa kukona kwawaida kuti nyaya yako irerekere uchida kunzwa zvinhu zvawaida kunzwa uchiregera vanhu vaitaura zvawaida kunzwa iwo vachitaura aitaura zvanga usikade kunzwa iwo wakamubvisa ipapo. Saka how did I lose track? If you listen to the live again back, uchienda wakadaroka kupera kwaena kwese taitongoramba chingodzokorudza chete tichitotaura ipapo because we never moved on from there, from that question.
Thank you, Mukoma wangu. Mukoma, I have learned to be responsible. Mukoma, makokwa ku one-on-one na Mukoma Simba. Masvika pashow pacho apasi pa one-on-one pana kuda pazopinda senyoro. Mukoma chekutanga, you were supposed to ask me, iwe mpana wami inga wanditi one-on-one. Amuna kudaro Mukoma wangu. Amuna kuwa responsible.
You know why I didn't say that? Because when you added me and I was probably like the 5th person or the 4th person that you had added there. You didn't add me in pakutanga tichihave a conversation yeduka like zvatatanga yezvinezvi anditi tichiita anditi. Iwewe wakangondi add panga patine topic yanga iripo yaitotaurwa. Inini ndiri munhu anoda kucontributa nandicho nesei yangu about that topic. Then I carried on with that topic. Anditi of which toti kwandirika neimwe mind yangu ndaitoti zvochi aiwa zvedu zvazve one to one tichaita ezvinezvi apa imwe debate iripo a very interesting story yandinochi sei yangu yandinayo then ndikuenderera mberi nesei yangu as a member. Kana nditori member kudaroka I don't think that I'm only assigned to have one-to-ones with you here. I can do a live by myself if I want to and actually invite you to join it. And that was your topic. It was there. Kuda was there before in. So I thought that was an open discussion for everyone. So again, there you are lost. You lost track. Wakasanganisa zvinhu. Wakasanganisa nyaya. And wakafunga kuti nyaya yangu newewe ndiyo nyaya yedu isusu nana sinyoro nana kuda. Inini ndakangofunga kuti iyi nyaya yedu tese inini newe nasimba nani. Inini newe nakuda na sinyoro. And akufunga kuti ndiyo yedu isusu one-to-one yedu isusu. Because obviously I know what one-to-one means. One-to-one means an individual having a conversation with one individual. Ndosaka ina 1-to-1. Ndotoziya zvazvinoreva. Saka don't try and mix things and try and confuse and manipulate the situation.
Mukoma Sydney Samaita. BhukuReBenzi ibhuku. Bhuku iri rikunyorwa naMukoma Masimba ari kunyora ribenzi. but mkoma Masimba ari kuprova point yekuti Zimbabwe yese tiri mapenzi kusara kwamawere. Imimi mkoma Sydney Samaita, agenda yangu nemi yaiva ye one on one.
One on one topic yacho natenda kutaura ngerechi.
Mkoma agenda yanga iri one on one.
One on one tichitaura about chi. What was the topic?
Agenda yedu yanga iri one on one.
What was the topic? One on one. Do zvanga zvichaitika ipapo. We're going to have a conversation till one on one talking about what?
So
you are not answering the question. Answer the question so that we can move on.
I cannot answer
talking
a
about
question.
What? One on one.
Your question came when I'm talking. It interrupted me.
Yeah,
so I'm going to ignore that
question. You can still answer it. I said one on one edu takachitaura pa tichichinjana apa bora anditi ndakupasa ndakakuti one on one edu yanga iri yechi topic yatenda kutaura.
I'll continue with my answer to your previous response before I answer your other new question, which is not a valid question because
it's just a simple question that I've just asked you. Why can't you just answer it? What was our topic? You don't know.
The simple question. Yeah, we are, it's interruption, so it's not a valid question to me. Right.
Because you want to go long and go in circles. I'm not about to play games. Today is a Sunday. I need to talk to you, get over and get this over and done with. I don't have the whole day here listening to you. The same thing. Want to move forward.
Okay. BhukuReBenzi. Ndikudedicate kuna mawere. I'm proving a point kuna mawere kuti mndara ndiko siri benzi wewe. Wona Samaita ibenzi mkomo wangu.
Definition yako ibenzi ji. Usati watanga kundidaidza zvinhu kazva ndisingawirirani nazvo.
Right. Samaita ndamupromisa one on one. Taita agenda ye one on one. Nezera rake anouya ndamutumira link. Ari kuona pane vanhu 5. Ari kupinda ipapa.
Then I see one on one it's a different topic altogether. And I did explain kuti ndakatopinda chozoti imwe debate we. I topic but I had something to share on it. It wasn't a one on one. Because danga ri one on one ga. Dai ukandaidza uri wega ndiri papo ndakauya uchitozoti ti one on one. Dai uri kutotaura zvakutaura izvozvo yanga iri one on one. Dai ukanichallenge. It wasn't one on one. We were 5 of us on the live. So why are you defining it as a one to one? Why are you calling it a one to one? Kuti wakaita one to one nakuda, wakaita one to one neni, wakaita one to one na senior mu one to one. Ausikona kuti asikumeka sense zvautaura.
Samaita ndina agenda naye one on one. Samaita your last message ndinayo ku WhatsApp one on one. Ndiri pa show ndine vanhu 5. Ndabva muti Samaita uyai pa one on one yaya.
Pa one on one. Pa one on one because ndogozera pa one on one seko pana vanhu 5. You keep on saying it. Inogozeta one on one seko na vanhu 5.
Okay, Samaita. Let's agree to disagree. Let's not be disagreeable.
Kune debate iri kucha, not one on one. Because one on one, then ndakauya iwo tsara T2.
Samaita, you are interrupting me. I will just welcome Rasta. Rasta, welcome to the show.
Because you've got this Rasta thing here of trying to put words in my mouth.
Yes, sir.
Then of what akuda uzviburitsa pakakapa zvoitonge zvinonzi ndizvo zvinhu zvakaitika. Ina handisi kuzobvuma izvozvo. Ndizvo zvandakaramba kuti tipfure pane nyaya yekuti chika. Papa pakanzi zvochika pakati kwalie yekunzi munhu is a fugitive. Ndakabvunza munhu kuti is that not a lie? Takatadza kupfura ipapo. You are doing the same thing.
Rasta, welcome to the show.
Because you're welcome.
Takaita one on one in 5. Saka ndakupenga akazishua akakanda ndakuda one on one in 5. Zvakutaura zvina sense. It wasn't a one on one. It was a debate consisted of 5 individuals.
Rasta Zimbabwe, welcome to the show.
Yes, bless up. Maswera zvakanaka iri mese pachirongwa. Tafara kugona imose. Yes, let me just greet you all, Blessed is the man who walks not in the course of the ungodly. Revelation 6, verse 1. And I saw the Lamb opened one seal.
Sorry, Rasta, for
Yes, sir.
interrupting you. Masimba
Yes,
yo
King.
wandedza panapo seroti tukuita 1-to-1 andizvo. Questions angu questions angu abvisa enozi ndasvika pamunamato. Why tenda kunamato? Why usati answer questions angu? Why tapa 3 vanhu 3 pa 1-on-1? Sorry, Rasta, no disrespect.
It's all good. It's all good, Samaita.
But
it's all
question
good.
ine mambona tipaipeka ndanga kutoipakurirwa ndakunzi ndizvo ndakaitaka. Saka ezvezvi manje ndizvo akuda kutry da kutesta manje. Saka ndozviva tomubvunza satendera mberi 1-to-1 edu yapere toziva kuti nezvi tangopa takuflexa zvedu naGermany navamwe vanhu vese vanenge uchiedha kana tichiri pa 1-on-1. Kana tiri pa 1-on-1 ka tokumbira Germany vambonyarara ka iwo pedzise kupindura bvunzo dzangu. But kana wakuda kuti 1-on-1 yedu titerminate then toterminate quite cool.
1-on-1 haifanopera. 1-on-1 haifanopera. Kanditopinda nditongopinda ndichikopai break kana 5 minutes. 1-on-1 haifana kutombopera iyoyo because ndo yatatowira utonzwawo.
Takumbira break boss break haingauyeka munhu ajomba pa question ka.
Break uri blama Simba.
Boss ene zvari kutiza question.
Blama Simba, is this 1-on-1 time or you want Rasta to do a break? What do you suggest, Blama Simba?
I tried 1-on-1 at Samaita and asked Kwisisa mistake yake ari kublame nini. So Rasta for now Rasta I'll put open line. Rasta welcome Rasta, yeah, open line.
Saka you have run away. Saka our 1-to-1 is terminated because you have failed to answer questions. Welcome Rasta.
Bless up Samaita. Ndatokunzwa Samaita pese ngwese.
Masimba vashava uri mukakona kako ivharara ikoko. Make sure you sleep this time. Endere nyemberi Rasta, welcome.
Samaita ndangachitokuteerera ipapa so ndisaka vhesi randirova musoro eri so. Anditika. Vhesi ro ndoparatobva nachitoteerera zviri kuitika zvese zvangu ndiri muchikona. Ndabva ngoti Revelations 6 manje noti vanhu avawanzoverenga bhuku reRevelation ka chero vemachechi chero maprofita vanoverenga bhaibheri rese asi vashoma vamunonzwa vachitaura nezveRevelation, but we're living in Revelation times, and it. And so the Lamb opened up one of the seals, and I heard as it were the sound of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow and a crown, and was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast saying, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they could kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And then he had opened this third seal, and I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou had no oil and wine." Right. Sangozaza kuti nguwa inoda kusvika manje ka mabeasts aya ka mapowers anoaffecta kana world yese kana kuti anocontrola pasi rose, just symbolical according to what Rasta sees. So even through social media, them control us. Through enough things, them control us. So every time I always look at the intention behind zvinoitwa munhu kana basa rinenge achida kuita. Saka Blama Simba argument amanga mchita mese nachikunzwa mese, you're trying to get to something. Ndaona chinja tiri kuleka isusu mazuva ano ka. Everyone is now a beast now. Everyone is now a power, you know. Everyone has got access to social media. Everyone has got access to a lot of these things. And you either use it for the right or for destructive or self-destructive purposes. Saka Blama Simba pa BhukuReBenzi ndombona maskati zimanguva inobita self-destructive ama nero anenge vakureasonable. But in BhukuReBenzi rinenge rava imwe twist yaudrichi rinenge rakutovhiringa kana image zvimwe zvinozodzikisirawo mamalevels so kuti vanhu vanozopanika so voti chero mudhara chacho andingazomudedza kuti wakete bhuku rebenzi mweya wairidha kuzi vangandozokwira bp kuti vana vakatofamba kuchi areas kuzotambura chimwe vachokumbira kana mogo vasazotopama kuacta wana saka dzimwe nguva zvimwe zvinoda kuzopiwa narrative kuratidza the logic behind it saka Samaita dzimwe nguva vanenge vatoriwo nemaquestions mamwe andinotonzwisisa kuti ari deep enough kuti chi there will be some serious issues anenge achida kuadresswa saka isusu ngatikwanise kudifferentiata pakati pecomedy nezvinhu zviri serious nevanhu vekuinvita pari comedy nezvinhu zviri serious no ndakazotsamwa mumusi ndauya vanhu vakubudisa manudi panapa vakushaudhana inini zvangu zvokushaudhana kwevanhu chi zvinotondigombora wawana chi ndakatongokura muenvironment yanga ringori neviolence kudhara so saka some things that I'm done with, you know, they don't seem funny to me when people are attacking people all the time and you know, defamation of character, you know, and all those things that people could really be affected with. Mama families vamwe vanhu vanotoona munhu achitukwa kana kuti amai vamwe munhu ari kuona muchibudisa zvinhu zvake muchimutuka kana kuti mwana vamwe munhu ari kuona muchituka baba vake mweya so saka ndopega pana ndambotimbotsuranawo so mutopesi wangu bla chimasimba chi mombodzorawo chi mafuta epapa momborespekta dzimwe space so nengoziva kuti zvimwe zvinhu zvotoafektawo vamwe vanhu vasiri kana mamembers eplatform yedu vanonge vachingozvinzwa so izvozvo so saka inini rasta ndorega vanada ngonyutaurawo nhasi ndasingade zvangu kutaura zvakawanda wanda ndichipomera munhu mhosva or anything but we should also understand kuti zviri kuonekwa navanhu akawanda saka image yachona yafamba zvaimukurumbira non-Zimbabweans are not contact. I don't want to pretend or anything. I've been involved with so many communities, you know, in Africa Day, Australia, Africa Women Diaspora Association, just to mention a few, African Union Youth Clubs. My youth work involved on zvinhu so saka unotozona vamwe vanhu vari concerned vanhu vasiri mazimbabwe vanonga vachitondi contact kuti do you know this guy called Masimba saka bp vamwe vanhu inenge yakatokwira vaine concern kuti ndichimboedza kuplaya twist kuti munhu ari kuactaka pane level yekuti kuacta kwake yamanjika it becomes a reality then zvobva overshadow the good thing about C2C or the other ideas I had. Ndakatotaura naMr Wamawere Masimba ndinvita ndikati thank you bla Masimba inini ndichatira kusupporta music yekuZimbabwe ndiri kunoku ndichibata chi-Australian reggae scene nema-Jamaicans kunoku nema-nationalities toita ma-collaborations nema-Zimbabweans so tichibuilda chi-music yedu so saka that's the contribution I can do inini saka iwo contribution yawagona ndeyekutiunganidza but watiunganidza chaos should not prevail. We already got enough chaos as Zimbabweans, you know, that we need to limit the chaos and try to have more clarity. Kana ari majokes ongonakidzawo zvichingopfuurawo so ingwana ririko majokes ana parafina ana mukadota ana bus stop ana uvapedze but majokes asiri ekuataka because we shouldn't bargain on attacking people's images or bargain on threatening people or bullying, for example, because you know bullying is one thing that I don't condone. That's what I'm trying to say. I enjoy the platform and the entertaining side of it so but nyayo nonga vanhu nekusapana namukana nekusazongorespecta kuti isusu turapana hapa ndiwane madhara panapa chi tinenge chida kutodzidzawo zvimwe nemadhara so hatisitese mabondrikishen mamwe tinotowa nekumusha tinotoziva kuti kuna nambuya nanasekuru kunorespectwa vanhu saka isingori style yangoita njake so because some things are too offensive, you know, because tipano tongozati hatisitese tiri kugara mastreets vari kugara mastreets vamwe vari tori netsika kutopfuura zviri kuitika vari genuinely suffering who are suffering from true poverty. This is a mockery to people who don't have anything or suffering kana kuzimba kwakuya. This is a mockery when you're diaspora, then you portray this image of Zimbabwe to people who are probably avasina kana access nezvinhu iwo neaccess nezvinhu zvese nekukwanisa kutobetsera kutotumidzira mari yemogo kuzimba uchotumidzira vanhu mari yedoro kuzimba but tinosiyana mafungiro vanhu. Inini chero ndisina mari yakawanda ndikatoshanda ndoziva kuti 10% yangu yaenda kutax kunoko imwe 10% yaenda kuzimba hazvina basa ndapani chero munhu andivhara hazvina basa yatoenda kumusha hazvina basa kuti yabva nenzira ipi yasvika yakashande ikoko hakuna kutoonekwa kuno kuchipema munhu kuti unogona kungotsvaira mastreets imomo kati wakupenga uchitopiwa mari yekutsvaira mastreets waona uchitotsvaira mastitsi uchitopiwa bhegi, so uchitoti ndakutopengwa uchitonhonga mapepa unotopiwa mari kunogawana. Manje kana kakupenga kacho kana kari ngoataka vanhu cheteka, that kind of madness is disastrous, you know. That's some cantankerous behavior, you know. Okay, sorry, I just had to go overboard and chimbotaura imbichana pamwe ndini ndiri kurasika panyaya yebhukurebenzi nini. Yeah. Sorry. Inini ukanatozoverenga bhaibheri soka isimiwa ndendangoita zvimafani zvinomboita zvikumbotamba dzimwe nguva soka, patinonyatsoona kuti nyika yese yakuguma pasi rose. Nyika dziri kunyura izvozvo taura kuno kuma-islands, they are losing a meter every year of land, chero Australia iri kudyika futi nemvura. Vanhu vese vachada kudzoka kuAfrica handitika, right? Saka vanhu ngavasada dzungu rimwe rarifunga kuti kana wabuda kuAfrica chiwatoenda wakudenga kuno kuti kuchatanga kuparara. KuAmerica kune highest COVID-19 kuti haisitombodzoreka izvo so zvikutozoka kutoparara, takatarisa tese handiti. Saka Mwari ane mashandiro anoita, so munhu hakuna kushora nyika yako kana kushora kwaunobva kana kufunga kuti wakudiaspora zvanyoshamisira. Ini ndaitomboregret ndakatoya kuno ndichiri mufana stereki ndisingatozivi zvinhu zvakatowanda, vanhu vachingotaura zvinhu zvakashata pamusoro peZimbabwe zvisiri right. Mandadzokera ndikanona ndega, so ndikati zvinhu handida kuti zviri perfect ka, but it's a young country ka, with the young type of political structures and everything. Vanhu vakadzidza. Kana muAustralia muchinzi the highest literacy rate of immigrant groups maZimbabwean, the highest GDP maZimbabwean. Obviously munhu wese anoda maZimbabwean kuti nyika yavo ibenefit, but maZimbabwean afanira kubenefitisawo nyika yavo, panongoblema nyika, nongoblema leadership, nongoblema everything like that every day. Vanhu vachingotadza kungotaura sevanhu seisusu one on one kuti chii chatingafaise zvinhu tigadzirise the little we can, whether kari ka-tuck shop katiri kugadzira, whether kari ka-supermarket katiri kugadzira. It doesn't necessarily have to be big. Kana tangogadzira mataya, kana tangogadzira mavhiri emota, so titomutsvaga kana ma-products akutongoita zvatinoita. This does not need to involve politics or need to involve anyone. Vanhu can do it personally. Panongotukana Masimba is here, he's got the opportunity yekuwana zvinhu zvese izvi. Chero ari mastitsi mama, he can make phone calls on behalf of vana kuZimbabwe, achiwanira vana kana nzvimbo dzechikoro, achienda kana kumauniversities, achiti anopenga vachitomupa maforms, achitumidzira vanhu kuZimbabwe apana vachitouya kuno kuzodzidza skills anotobenefita mazimba, achitoudza vanhu macourses mamwe ekuti vada kuita kana exchange maskills zvimwe yaya, vanhu vachitowana maopportunities kana emagraft zvichitochinja, achitofaisa madhira anobetsera nyika panongoshoropodza nekushora. Iye aine the capacity yekujoinidza vanhu. So if you have the capacity to bring people on a platform, what matters in the end is what's the purpose of the platform, what's the intention behind it, what's the beast driving it. Is it coming from Holy Emmanuel Elijah, or it's coming from Satan? You know, where is it coming from? What's the drive behind it? Are we going to thrive attacking each other? No, we can't thrive through attacking one another. This is definitely something Jordan squabvumirana nacho kazhinji. Daweza kudza blama Simba, ndombonyorera ma-comment, ndombowashauta zivongo vachifunga kuti pamwe vachanoteerera vari palive, ndombowashauta so kuti shamwari nyangoti vanhu siyana nevanhu vari kuZimbabwe, unovatukirei? Kong'anga unodzitukirei? Siyana nadzo. Zinata was there before you were born. Just leave Zinata alone, right? Mind your own business. You can also believe Mnganga. How believe Mnganga? Fine. It's a multicultural country. Zimbabwe has always been a multicultural society before even colonization. Great Zimbabwe, everyone. So this is nonsense when someone just has to criticize Maprofita Nganga. Was also to force prophet. Wakutukana nana passion vakutadzire ataura ka matangs ake kokana zvangu zvechokwadi. How do you know? Anditi zvakataura paipa kuti bondi ndokupena nanhasi vanhu ringopena mabondi achoona. Just a funny example like that. You can say some things that are positive, kuti majokes zviri positive, so kuti kopaipa izvi aitotaura paipa ndo zvakatozoitika ka noti zvinhu zvatopresa, so akataura nezvekuamerica zvichitowedzera kutopresa, so choti gore regonzo toenda katongovharurwa mudheni unge makonzo nechirwere ichi chatouya. Waona mumwe munhu anenge atova neinterpretation yake yega. Ini sarasta ndaitointerpreta paipa ndichitonzwa vapashona vachitosasa, so ndati saka tendeka tovharurwa mudheni ka, chii chativharisira singazoti kuri kuya corona. Ndakunzwa majakusosonya mahumba. Sasa humba yenguruve ka, it's a dirty thing. It's a symbol of demonic entities. A symbol of my demonic entities anenge atopozesa blama Simba. ekuti ivo havarealize kuti spiritually now he has no control of himself, right? It's prophecy fulfilled kuti vanhu vakungoita nguva possessed panguva inoi, vanyanyogara mumba vari kuchekana, vari kuurayana munguva yecorona inoi. Zvikungoitika zvakawanda, hazvinei nekuti vanhu vari kungofa nechirwere, vamwe kutangi pane mweya wakufamba umwe uri kungopotera. So saka zvo zvakuda munamato izvi. Mukaona ichiro rasta ndasarenda kuti bhuku rebenzi irika rakatanga richanakidza, but rakazonituma kuenda kumunamato chaiko chaiko. Ndikati no, izvi pamberi paMwari izvika handifunge kuti izvi zvichine chitsvene pamberi paMwari chaipoka. Handisi kuona izvi chine zvitsvene. Chero ndakadhakwa, chero ndaputa mbanje, chero ndiri soba inini ndingatoenda kuchechi kutononamata kuti hai zvakuitika zvikaga ndimbonamatira mukomana uyu. Mweya wakufamba nawo uyu hausi mweya utsvene, kana mweya wekuparadzisa vanhu venyika kwese kuvabatanidza, asi ane capacity yekuvabatanidza in another way. He could be positive. Maybe he was blessed. God blessed him with the capability to bring people together. But Satan likes people who God blesses too. Vanosarudzwa naMwari ndo vanodiwawo naSatani, ndo vanenge vachitodawo kuti iye amuri kuti amukasarudza anokwanisa kuunganidza vanhu vavake nyika, ndiye anosarudzwa uchina kuti vaparadzanise, because panoda Mwari ndo panoda Satani. Why would the devil go for a weak soul? The devil wants to use a strong soul just the same way as God wants to use a strong soul. So when I look at Blama Simba, sometimes I say this is utter nonsense. This guy is acting like he's possessed.
True.
And then he comes back to reality. Amaneru akutaura namawere nevanhu vamwe vechikuru, so vakumudzikisa spirit yake kumalevel una masimba akuti anomawo manje. Apinda manje mupresidency ichi yevanhu vakuru, demon rere rakunyara manje pepe rakuona kuti it's not welcome in this presidency yevanhu vakutaura zviri machuwa manje ichi, but rinomboramba richiresista futi toda kuedza kubuda. Ndakazona manje rabuda pepe vanhu vakuru vasipo pepe vabudisa zvinhu zvakashama, vanhu vakubudisa manud. Ndakushamisika kuti inini kuzviti Rasta Zimbabwe inini, it means that I stand up for every Zimbabwean wherever I go. When I'm going to put on a show, when I'm going to see people, I have to be humble. Kana chipita mbanje ndoputira kumba ikona ndoputira kunzoko ndisachiona kuti muZimbabwe ndo zvaanoita. Kana chitakwa ndine doro rangu ndakawanda ikona kuti ndobuda mupublic ndakabata doro, ndo maZimbabwe zvaanoita. Ndo nonsense ndingotaura yachiona kuti hunhu hautengwe, hunhu haudhuri. Anditi same as kupenga. Saka it's a choice, because munhu asi kupenga zvokuti asi kutadza kuchuza, ari kutochuza kuti anova mamanheru tichitaura zvinhu zvinovaka society, zvinovaka community. Oita nharo navanhu vakuru, ana Samaita vari kuedza kutaura, ana Sinyora vari kuedza kutaura, Ninga ari kuedza kutaura, but akada kutaura mafacts ari confronting, munhu anobva ada kuvhunduka manje. Dhimoni haridi kuconfrontwa ka, because iwo wada kutidzikisira ka. Dhimoni rinotokuudza kuti ndini nditorana nawo zvinhu panapa, hapana chaunondisasa. Saka uda kuchallenge dhimoni, unoti dhimoni ringoita back down. Region yacho yaitorova vanhu kana 20 kana 100 ari 1. Karate zvese, boxing achitsebura vanhu. Svika Jesu azongoti kuregion zvaita sei? Kudambura macheni panapo chita zvese izvi. Bobudisa dhimoni ritisechi tise muhumba. Ndo humba dzedzetaurwa nani? Na passion pai. Vayapinzwa muhumba dhimoni rereba madhimoni yatichi ukoko. Exactly. Mukoma waye kana pane vane zvichitenderana namatira emunhu, inini hangu ndatadza, inini ndofunga inini zvitadzo zvangu inini zvikunitadzisa kuti ndikwanise kumuseva. Ndisiwo kuti chi. I think we have to ask the whole nation of Zimbabwe to pray for Blama Simba, because if we don't, it's going to be destructive. It's going to make people fight one another and hate one another, loathe one another. And before we let this go too far, let's assist him. He needs our help to see the light. Whether vanonamata, vanopreacha, chero ng'anga dzanga chituka novantombodzipawo kana mukana dzitombotaurawo naye, because yangu yekuteerera. Vanhu vese vambomuteererawo, but ngaachimboteererawo, ambounza vanhu vese 1-1 vechitendero vambomunamatira akanyarara, achiteerera achimuparidzirawo, ozobvunzawo zvakanaka zviri genuine. Then mushure mekunge azvichenesa, then he will be a very good community leader, because there is no sign of leadership. There is a good sign yekubatanidza vanhu, but there's a sign of misleading. So if there's an opposite of leadership, saka nangu ini ndapedza zvangu, ndakangodinewa ndatsama kuti ndakavaudza last time kuti chiregerai zvekunyanya muchizodai, so muitawo zvinhu zviri professional, chipenga zviri professional kana if you're trying to address something. Usapenge zvinhu zovhundutsa. Yeah, chipenga zvoti my nephew can be around me and watch you live and laugh and say this guy is funny. without my nephew running away and my niece screaming, why is this guy urinating in public or defecating in public or something like that? We have to know what type of jokes we pick, because my jokes are funny ariko. Unogona kujoka kana nedhoteya, but yaunofanira kuziva manje kuti it's becoming destructive to your image, to your family. Saka iwe you're looking for your mother, it's what the demon is telling you, but you're running away from your mother because demons tell you the truth of what you are meant to do, but you do the opposite. You preach the truth, but you do the opposite. That's how demonic entities operate. So you speak real valuable words, and then you do the total opposite of what you're saying. That's how the demonic entities operate. Saka unotaurira vanhu kuti iwe kuti ndikubatanidza so vanhu vaya vaine good hype, vopedzisira vanhu vese vakutotukana, vakutoshaudhana pamwe, tese takutovengana panapa, ini nana Samaita nana Sinyora, vanhu vese vari pagroup panapa takutovengana. Saka tifanira kuzvaavoida izvozvo because kaspirit kari pana blama simba.
Amen.
Handina kudzidzira kana kuti kushopera kuti this is obvious, no, it is called common sense.
Zviri pachena common sense. Ipapa pakakapa pamataura parasaka pane topic one yamabata yangu ndi reflect kuti ndingovunza one question zvinhu zvambogara zviita sei zvichingonditrouble mupfungwa mangu. Inini mamenshena ndigire nenyaya yeimmigration. Uyu Masimba ndombomubvunza kuti akazotanga rini kusenza kuimmigration. Ndamunzwa kuti last week yaimhanya nenyaya dzekunzi ada kudhipotesa, ada kustopesa mapepa emunhu kuti auye kuAustralia. Iwo wazoita muridzi weAustralia iwo zvekuti akuda kudhetemaina mumwe munext Zimbabwean ada kuzvitsvagira kuraramisa mhuri yake nedzinza rake. Iwewe uda kuwana mapowers ekuti umustope iwewe. Uri ani iwe? Kana turi tumapepa twako twakazowane toto tumapepa twako tozvinya kushamisira sei iwewe chiite kuti ungadhipotese another fellow Zimbabwean iwewe. Kwandiri
serious, we need to address that issue.
I see as a snitch, you're a sellout.
A snitch, madopedza. Even kujoka nezvazvo.
Sellout. Isusu takambompinda ma-detention center. It's not easy life yamunopinzisa vanhu kudai zvikunzwa.
Bad enough. Saka even kujoka nazvo is not good.
Because iyoyoka uchadhipotesa rasta kuti havana mapambi nhasi. Rasta uzoroti pay yavo inoraramisa vanhu kana kuti 10. 10 ivavo nepadiki vanonga vapuwa narasta panoraramisa 20. Vanhu 20 ivavo vanoraramisa. Pane tika inonzi domino effect. Wakarova rasta ava uri kunzwa. Unokukura dzinza rese over a joke or over jealousness. Saka iwewe kwakazotanga kuzosenzewo kuimmigration office yakakupa iwewe masimba ekuti iwe unonge iwe ndiwe gonokodzera kuuri muZimbabwean ega iwewe anofanira kunge achigara muAustralia wakaiwana kupi. Munhu angode 10 years chete achigara abroad. Kutona vamwe vanhu shamwari tagara ma22 years ma23 years tiri abroad. Autombofa wakatomboona kana munyati kana kusangana navanhu vanonga vane munyati kuti ada kudhipotesa munhu. Uri ani?
Saka turakunamatira kuti achiregera kuroya, ngatichimunamatira kuti aregere kuroya. Nekuti kana zvida kuti kuroya kukwira rusero kwakuyaka zvokukwira rusero ndingatoda kutozvidzidzira. Uroyi huri worse than kukwira rusero. Uroyi huri worse than
hanzi ndikutoenda kuimmigration ndikutodaiso ndikudede zvineinewe zvekutoti
muroyi anotodya nyama. Maona
are you aboriginal?
Maona akisa maboriginal munhu akutofunga kuti akutoona nyika, atokisa maboriginal atoti atova nyika yake munhu. Zvinonetsa manjeka ndezvekuti izvo isusu sevanhu
idzungu,
ngatizoti dzungu irika haribhadhari, haribatanidze, rinoparadza. Isusu tinofanira tichitochengetana, uchitotsvagira magepu ekutounza dzimwe hama dzako dziri koko pane kudzivharisira magepu kunoku zvichizi maZimbabwean anopenga. Uenda iko kuchita mascreams akadai so whatever, even riri joke, social media is being watched. Apasina chinhu chisiri kutariswa kunoku muAustralia. Vanokusensa ukatumidzira any message, every single message is watched. Hapana zvimwe chimboedza kuposta picture kana yamazam inobva yanonzi ga neFacebook anditi ukatoposta message nokuti ga, everything is being watched. Blama Simba vari kupisa nyika dai vachiregera ndapota. because ndo vanachida kudzatara level rozvochi tiri kutariswa nevese kana nemapurisa kana nevese vanoita social media nyaya dzebullying nezvese zvino vanhu vari pamacomplaints vari kunoku pamusaka pabla Masimba. Saka that image yaari kuita paplatform ka iri kudamage yesu Mazimba. Ndandatombospira kuti bla Masimba ndikaona ndaivaisa kana tsvimbo musoro ndikati ndingatosungwa zvangu but ndokutorwira nyika kwandingatokwanisa kutoitawo kuti ndiprotecte image yenyika yedu nditoti ndikavaona ndivaisa kana bhodhoro musoro vambodzikamisa zvavari kuita speed because mapengero anosiyana. Isusu tikapenga if we have to stick up for something we have to put into action kuti kana zvakutaura zvanyatsonetsaka totogara totobudza Babylon kuti pane munhu anda kumbonorova kuseri kwetonas mukazonzwa ndadanwa akandi kunomurovera nyaya yakati yakadai so I'm doing this to protect the image of my country. In Zimbabwe, in Australia, we never had this situation where someone deliberately goes to tarnish the image of their fellow citizens. And I'm sacrificing this. Yes. So what kind of behavior is that? What? Serious. Because ukatotanga sejoke vamwana vachafunga kuti ndohunhu zvimwe zvinhu zvatinge zvita pajoke zvanofunga kuti ndohunhu pakatanga kabehavior kekupenga paka kanotanga kuita contagious waona. Because if something is trending it becomes contagious and everyone will start to learn from that. Uthinga kuti kutuka vanhu nekuposta zvinhu zvevanhu ndo the way to go. Saka Masimba needs to stop what he's doing because that's really bad. Otherwise Masimba is going to leave me with no other option. Ndichanomisa kana tsvimbo musoro ndinomutsvaga kumastreet kwaanoenda uko tompfekera kana camouflage tikamuendera nemamafia tikanomukiya mapurisa pandosvika vanokasvika maita basa
illegal immigrants anda kuendwa illegal not nevanhu vane mapepa vasina mapepa vasinatsoziva struggle yachona
tikanomukiya because pana vanokugara kumusha uko right the whole country goes face ari kushoropodza vanhu vari vasinei naye. At the same time, progress because we're trying to progress, right? We're talking about building communities and learning education, a business, promote music, promote my businesses. And I came to this platform. Masimba is holding me back because in that forward, promote artists. Let's get on this platform and talk about something, building up people back home, making them go international, making them go abroad, unifying the diaspora in Zimbabwe back home, and bridging the gap in between with all the mistrust and just being transparent on us. Vasina imwe yekungoita kameka mistrust vanobva diaspora chavasipo because zvikuita naMasimba that's what creates a bad image. So narukumbotanga kutrustana sina vanhu vari kuno kana vanhu vari kuno kwalesa vachasitera ngovhairana zvimwe zvishane musoro so munatovhaira achitokumbira maogo achitoita kumastreets kuti chichichi. This is nonsense one. Seriously, this is nonsense. Kanganisa vanhu ka-attitude tikaka-entertainer it will grow. Grow attitude it's going to affect every Zimbabwean because everyone is on social media including kids, teenagers, 14-year-olds, right, watching all this crap. This Zimbabwean guy, I'm Zimbabwean, yeah. Ndikamona reza ndichamudira mbama so it's ndomuziva Masimba then ndingamuzive munhu ndakamukwenya kudhara but I respect Masimba, you know, he's a good character. But I'm saying that it's out of character for me to let nonsense like that slide. So I'm Zimbabwean, which magisa nyika so saka kuti pa list blacklist kuya kunoko zvanzi maZimbabwean ana kukwana musaunze maZimbabwean kunoko yekuni maZimbabwean obada kuti uyo kunoko achiregera chikuya kunoko and BHP no mine gold ne platinum redu kuZimbabwe roko we have every right kuya kunoko kufutika kwa inyika waidu kanti vanodya kubva kwatirere. Saka the same way BHP kunoko kuZimbabwe. So people like Masimba should be building better relationships, mentioning those things. You should be going to challenge BHP with reva no mari vari kuZimbabwe kuti nyazofambisa zvinhu zvakanaka muchiunza vamwe vachanda kungo vice versa. He should be using his mind for other things that are more constructive and beneficial to Zimbabwe than just some stupid entertainment. What do we benefit from stuff that's supposed to be in the sewage? We need to benefit from fresh water. We need to benefit from recycled energy. Solar panel to renewable energy. Because markets are snabas, the world is heading to renewable energy. Lead world is a measure. But to take a part tingoentertaina bla Masimba toti ndo yatwa trend sema Zimbabwe nsoga ndo kutoraya nyika kwachona. It's called suicide, you know, self-inflicted, self-harm, and then we blame everyone else, which is nonsense, you know. I just want Masimba to come back to his senses, I'm just really getting sick of seeing
for
this.
Masimba to come back to his senses, he needs to realize that I'm the boss, I'm in charge. That's all a dream. He's dreaming he's not the fucking boss or fucking nothing. Because if he was a boss, a true boss doesn't have a boss. Yo, boss wakapinda muhospital against your own wills. Kutoti dai wanzwa uri parodhi waitozvuzvurudzwa nemapurisa uchinoiswa imomo. Boss haitwe izvozvo. Kunzwa wakagariswa panzvimbo yanga usingada kuti ugare udzowaida kumeka zviluke kunonzi waida kugara ipapo. Saka obviously wakatogara under mutemo wemumwe munhu akatokuisa panzvimbo ipapo akatokuisa in track kuti uri pagara panapo uchabuda panapa musi wakadai so how are you a boss and how were you in charge? You are not in charge. The state was in charge of you, but dai wangori voluntary better.
Muna matire mfesu, please.
Manje you a section. So how are you a boss?
Please.
You're not a boss.
Muna matire, please.
You're getting big-headed for nothing.
Muna matire, please. I know Rangu, some people are taking offense. Blah Masimba. I care about Masimba. That's why I'm saying what I say. And I care about Masimba. That's why I'm saying I've known him personally. Masimba teacher for Mashona class is a community, and he was doing very well for the community. I'm not saying this out of spite. I'm doing this to save him and to save the community, the wider community. In any show in Rangu that BhukuReBenzi and we are Rangu digi criticizer for my personal point of view. I'm just say, but I'm happy you gave me the opportunity, guys. Even the Ganyara Rangu, I'm happy that I had the time to say what was on my mind. Because I was doing Radza. He was community oriented in that way, and the kids liked what he was doing. I seen my nephews and nieces go to those classes, and then I see something like this. I really get hurt to the stage where I don't know how to act. And those Masimba, I'm the boss, because chiri boastful futi kacha chinogara vanhu ka achisi chimwe chimanga ka ana region vaitozvito I'm the boss vachitodzura kana miti chaiyo vachidambura cheni. Saka zvishamisire kuti boss munhu akagarwa zvinotoitika. Anogona ngatori boss Masimba pasina chinomuwana kana chirwere chaicho mustreet kana anotombomutanga mastreets pasina chinomubata, because mweya unenge wakamugara wachona inenge iritori chisingatotangiki. Saka ndinongokudze tozati kukurudzira mwoyo wedu vamwe vachifunga kuti majokes, but this is no longer a joke. I think BhukuReBenzi should either take another twist kana ngachinopengera kwake ega kusango kubeach or something and just get out of the civilization yangofamba uchingoshamba uchingoti amuzimba kune vanhu uchinyora bhuku rekuti mazimba ese anopenga. Ambobvumirana newe kuti tose tinopenga ndiani? Mapengero angangosiyana of kupenga. Haikona kufungira vanhu nekuudzira vanhu munhu nekungoita kameka behavior so kasina ngokwana kungutaura nezveprivate life dzavamwe vanhu. So because nyangotaura nyaya dzeprivate life yamwe vanhu zvamataura ndapepa ichokwadi kuti unoafecta munhu 1 zvinoafecta vanhu 10, right? Unoafecta munhu 1 zvinoafecta vanhu 10. Iwe uda kuona kana baba wemwe munhu achibudisa wakashama apa hazvingaafecte vana vavo vari kuchikoro kuti baba wako akabuda wakadai so. Saka Mazimba, they are entertaining this because they are used to the culture of destruction and self-destruction, very destructive behavior and the lack of unity. Atinongoita kwese Mazimba anakubatana kwese chero kuno kumazimba unomhanya chako chikabvondoka kana mbawa chamuchemu hapana kana vanokwana kana because vakawanda but still havana unity. Zvinotooneka kana kuno hazvitombori kuzimba chete vanogona vari kuti 50 mbawa vakamhanyiswa kana nevanhu vashoma vasiri verudzi rwavo because vanokwata kana havana kubatana. Ndo attitude yatiri kupromote na Bla Masimba yogara chingoshaudhana nongodai so we can't get to know each other better in a positive way. We don't want to know each other nekuziva munhu wese over bad things, right? We can introduce other munhu weti ningi indianuika pane zvinhu zvakanaka. So saka ini ndapedza kucomplaina zvangu varume ndofunga ndanyanyoenderera so rikandimbonorova kana tea zvangu ndimbodzora pfungwa because zvandirwadza zvito na Bla Masimba ndombofunga ndichachema nhasi so nehasha chete kuti ari kuzviitirei, ari kusevha Zimbabwe. Vanhu vopay attention kuti musununguri auya uyo he Jesu Kristu auya musununguri weZimbabwe, vongoona ari tongori antichrist zvake. Saka zvinozobetsera chivodedza vanhu uchiti I'm the Jesus and the Savior, vanosvika utongona ari region zvake. Zvinobetserei? Ndinodedza mutana wangu face wangu akuda kusevha nyika yachitomhanya chitoteerera izvo. Ona ko zvari region 1. Ingwani chiro region chacho anokwanisa kuti ndokwanisa kungokusevha futi. So let that spirit go and just return to the Maisimba. I know aitotichawo kana Shona achitoitawo zvaibenefita vapfana vecommunity iri kunoko vari kuzvarurwa kunoko vasina maticha eculture yedu yechishona nemagariro. We're curious to know their identity, because here there's always identity crisis iri kuaffecta vapfana, because unogona kuzvinyepera kuti muzimba but unogona kungoudzwa navanhu nana hauzi unobva kuupi iwewe, taura kwaunobva. That's how it is here. Manje kana usingazivi kwauri kubva, you become confused, which is the culture Masimba is promoting, right? Ini ndangoti bla Masimba, please regerai, because ndakutozoshaya zvekuita kana kutochema chaiko kana kusatomborwa food kana 1 week. Amen, kuti chichi chashanda ipapa. Imemo ndipo mazano amotodini kubetsera mukomana uyu. Let's not ignore the fact he needs help.
Awa mataura mashoko makukutu rasta.
Help.
Zvese zvamataura sehanda zvitora, but don't feel bad nekumupakurira kwamaita, because I don't think it was just criticism. I think it was constructive criticism. Pane thin line, pane difference. Yours is constructive criticism. Everyone needs a friend anompa constructive criticism in life kutoti uite successful. Audana nokunyepera muduzi. Saka well done. I think you said most things that I would have said as well, and you're on point. So very enlightening and very educational. Saka I applaud you. I salute you for this one. Yeah. Inini hawe ndapedzana naye, anenge asina chekuti ataure akadzoka chete pakamera ipapa chatanga neungonzwa nzi ndiri kunyora bhuku rangu rinonzi BhukuReBenzi. Mentor wangu ndi Mr. Mawere. I am the boss, I'm in charge. Bhuku rangu iri BhukuReBenzi ndere kuti munhu wese anopenga kusara kwamavaiwere chete. Bhuku rangu, bhuku randiri kunyora, inoita kunge netembo dzokorodzwa every time. But game shot. Rasta time matotivharira zvedu nekanhamba kasong keBhukuReBenzi. Nhasi manyatsoya nemaiki kamudhara muri mustudio. Varikudiwa chinhamba mudhara.
Aiwa BhukuReBenzi katogona kuborora chinhamba, so zvanzi identity, vanzi nasister vamwe identity crisis, says the guy who was talking like a Jamaican a few days ago. Saka manje nangoseka waonaka, because vanhu chavasingazive dambo vatanga nabvaudza nyaya yechirasta kabrief. MaJamaicans vanotoedza kutaurawo sesuma-African wawana. Panguva remaslaves kwatotaurwawo chirungu nechispanish, but to confuse the slave masters vakatotanga language yekuvhekisa chirungu vachida kuti chisound ngechikaranga, chisound ngechinyanja. Ndosaka uchingonzwa panonzi man pachiti yaman, sevamunongoitawo muchishona pana a e i o u, coming from a Latin ndokunyorwa kwakaita Shona yakatranslatewa kubva kuLatin, not kubva muchirungu. Ndosaka paine mavowel akadaro. Saka patotaura vatinchita paipa, we're just complimenting the Jamaicans, not that we're trying to be them. We're just letting them know that we come from Jamaica, you come from Jamaica, you are the baby of Africa, because Jamaicans fought for Africa through colonization. Munongova shora marasta, but ndova itochema kuti liberate Zimbabwe. Aikona hip hop wantomhanya vachitaura ma-American accent vava vanopenga mana, vada kutaura sevanhu vekuAmerica vasina kana basa navo, vachida kushora majama akatitadzirei, isu toteerera karege kangatitaura nechiJamaka. Saka tosiyana kamaculture ka, vamwe they want the other culture of hip hop nezvimwewo. Rasta ndo chinobhadhara, because takatoona kuti ana Capleton ndouya kuZimbabwe vachidya sadza, ana Buju vanotouya kuZimbabwe vachidya sadza. Akadya sadza na 50 cent pakati penyu ngasimudze ruoko ipapa. Kana ndakadya sadza na Jay-Z auya kuzimba akatondichikora kumbari vakatenderera. Vanhu vedu ava. saka inini pandinga zviti rasta Zimbabwe majama acho anotozviziva kuti inini nditori chimwe rasta anobva kuZimbabwe, vakatondipa zita iroro because vakatoona kuti mazimba red, gold and green coming from Ethiopia, chirasta chese is about being African. So I just had to educate you that the whole Rasta movement is an African movement of the empowerment of African people, unity of African.
About Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Not about Jamaica, actually about Caribbean island. Doesn't history suggest that time is slave trade, paper and anything? The island here is ovurwa here. Kune ma-slaves aishipwa kubva kuAfrica vanga vari mukonyo vachona vaikonzeresa ma-problems troubles kana kuti vaizvo vane mental health problem vese ndo vakaendeswa paisland paipa ndo pavaiswa paipa
ndo vaijamuka slave trade ndo vairwisa no that's vairwisa ndo vairwisa slave trade yes ndo vakatanga
yakaenda
vakatanga rebellion
vanonokonzeresa ava ipapa
chokwadi ndo vakatotanga rebellion kantu saka vakakurumidza ta independence
apashaikwe mamwe maslaves anenge akabva kuNigeria, mamwe akabva kuGambia, mamwe akabva kuZimbabwe, vese vakazopedzisira vapa island
eka exactly because vaijamuka kuti havasi kuda kuenda uku vaitokandwa mvura, vamanzi vaitoswima kuzosvika uku, vanenge varejectwa kuti vari kukonzeresa vadata mauprising ndosaka vakatanga kuti uprising yanzi mamaroons. Saka ndanamboverenga history yavo ndichitaura naumwe dread wandikazombonyanya spenda more time navo ndiri kunoku, so vangu varitori like afadha kwandiri panyaya yekumboiza tichimbotaura madip eAfrica ndanditori confused kuti what do they think about Africa. Pane vamwe vakatotivenga vanoti makatitengesa semaslaves handiti, kuita vamwe vanotifarira vanoti identifya nesu vanoti Jamaicans we are African West Indians handiti. Saka vamwe vakatotimaka vanoti imi makatitengesa makasara kuAfrica, variko vakatodaro variko futi kana mamwe maAmericans vakadaro
especially kunoku used to face that problem especially kuma 2000 jamara kuti makatitengesa amafight atokudambao
waiona ka. Saka vandikazoona vangu vari bhonga ri madhara echikuru yapafana munogona kuita problem madhara echikuru ndo right vanonyadzonzisa history kana vanotokudza imwe history yemaAfrica kuti unozoshamisika kuti sevachitoziva kupfuura vamwe vanozviti maAfrican vari kunoka about history yedu chacho vachitokudza kana kuZimbabwe chero chamba vachitokudza kuti Malawi gold vachitoziva zvese zvakazvitoitika kuareas. Saka unotozongoona kuti vanosiyana vanhu asi tokungokurumidza kuvashora because vanzi marasta chinhu chakashata wana chinhu chakagara chashorwa waona. Saka inini ndakatozongogera vhudzi nenyaya iyoyo ndangonzi izvochi ukata maloks chichi kuzimba kaize culture tino respect aka asi vakatobvira tatovasasa kuti pane maJamaican atitombotamba nawo tichita music nawo. Saka tese tinongoita nawo rasta, hapana chinhu chinomboshamisa kunzi rasta. Saka vanoda kusorozvinetsa kuti accent yazoita sei maJamaican andosounda different sevatikangoitawo mazimba kuti vamwe vane accent yekumanyika vamwe yekumasvingo. Saka patwa yachona indosiyanawo futi pane imwe kuti inenge richo yekukantry kuita yemutoners. Saka hazvisi kumbozvinetsa so long as you know what the man is trying to say zvatopera kana vanongobata message vadongobata ndo zvine basa chete. Plus munguva chijama chinototaura kuti uvekise vavengi kadzimwe nguva chete vanenge vasingaibate vanenge vasingaibate the message will be going for a chosen few, you know. So when you start to chat like this sometime, you know, you got a message going out for a chosen few. It's not meant that you have to make everybody know what you have to say. So sometimes you just have to choose, maybe I just need an audience of these particular people I'm directing this message to. So now I start to chat this way. Maybe we don't want some people to know what I say, you know, and only few that know it. Even though this is about to tower and those are motor rinzuzisa. Apana jamu kutombutaza kutobata zvinotaura zvese madozvinzwa so. Asichi pano mwana wanenge asinoto zvinzwa so. Ndo zvinenge zvinochitoitika because pane mamadipas atinogona kutanga kutaura chijama so. Kuti mafoni edu mamwe anenge achimonitwa munhu anogona kutongovhekisika kutadza kusati kutaura kuti chii. Saka anyway tatopedza ipapa. Blama Simba, get well soon. Chakunyorera kadhi kuita kuti bomface wangu I'm sorry ndambokushaudha. Ndozvati zvangu chikunetsa mweya wetsvina wekupinda asi nezita raJesu zvese zvichagadzirika. ndanangoti zvochi nditopedza chi ndikamunamato nditorwa kana riri ngoma nditorwa riri gospera chairo. Tombo rwake kanonzi tinokudaidza Ishe uyai nepano, tinokudaidza Ishe uyai nepano, tinokudaidza Ishe uyai nepano, oh uyai nepano, giving thanks and praise. Mukoma Masimba, we pray for Bla Masimba. We pray for Bla Masimba. Okay. Give thanks and praise, Almighty Heavenly Father, we pray for Mukoma Masimba to return back to his senses. Lord, we pray, Almighty, please, Lord. May all those spiritual bonds that are holding him back disappear, Lord, because Mukoma Masimba is not himself. Mukoma Masimba has traumatized those who love and care about him. I personally don't know what to do with Mukoma Masimba. I will leave it in the hands of the Almighty. Amen. Ndanamata wapandagona vamwe munamatirawo Mukoma Masimba nenguva yenyu mega, nekuti kana muri kuentertaina zvinhu izvo vanhu vese vari kuteerera panguva ino yega, imimi you need to check, kumbozvichekawo wega kuti pane kwauri kutodzika uchitorasika, so because spirit yakambotanga iri right but pane payakazotsaudzira. Mwana anenge akatorwa nezveusiku munzira dzaifamba izvi kuti akufanira kudzoka mubhodhi yake, nokuti chinhu chiri mubhodhi make chinopita chichibuda yombopinda 2 minutes zvikutorwisana, so kuti ndiani muridzi webhodhi. Saka ipapa muri muwane usiku hwakanaka. Ini ndangomborarama because mufesi wangu ndomuda stereki, ndashungurudzika nemafone call, vanhu vekuwest Africa, vanhu vekuchii, because izvesoka kana mabwa ndiri kubhaiza ndovari kuratidza kana mameseji nhasi yacho aringopinda, vanhu vachingochema kuti mumwe wako aita sei, ndichigeza kungodefenda kuti chi ari right. Mufesi wangu ari kuacta, mufesi wangu ari kupretenda. Apa ndiri kutukwa nevamwe vanhu kana vekurwanda chaiko pameseji ndikatokuratidza izvo, so ndichitoshaudwa hanzi vada kurwanda vakagara kuZimbabwe, saka unozovashona. Saka unonzwa kana meseji yacho natava kutukwa apa naapa, right? Vanzi ndibotanga kwainotangira manje, spirit yako inotoshandiswa nevamwe. Vanzi spirit yake inotoshandiswa nevamwe vanhu vari busy kufighta maenemy, uchivapa uchapera kuparara. Mapenzi akawanda panyika, vanzi muchapera kuparara imimi chimazimba because ndoshandiswa nemamwe. Saka ndakazoti Masimba unoita spirit inenge ichitoacta paari, it's an entity yekuti anenge ine good intentions but inobva yamusabotaja, right? Like inobva yacolonizer zvanenge achida kuita zviri right, obva adestroya pakanaka paari kuvaka, asa10 mabricks aunganidza vanhu kumi chada kutanga, then spirit yayo yobva yadestroya manje mascat. Manheru, so tiri pameeting zvakanaka, tine vanhu vari respectable, spirit yayo iri constructive. Masikati yaparadza zvese zvotanga tichivaka usiku vanhu vakutukana. Saka ini ndizonamatawo, so it's not like tingatambe nezita raMwari vanhu muzasoka. Ini ndasarenda inini nangu ini ndabhozva hangu inini, achazoti BhukuReBenzi kwarikananga ndekupi inini, kana explanation yacho handichatoda. Ndakuda kungoti zichingopera munhu achingodzoka kuita normal chete inini, ndopandangochema napo. Aiwa izvi zvabhobho izano zvakwana. Aiwa, it's enough now. It's like torture now for someone who really cares about their nation and sees this every day, who cares about their country. It's like torture, zvatwabhoso. Nombona munhu achingobuda angobho angogeroka ndebvu kana kuti anyway amen totoita sei, ndombokusiya mupedzerano naye nangu ndabho inini.
Rasta, next time pamunozodzoka kana pamune mapa good mood, toda clash, toda sound clash panapa. 3 song sound clash yema lyrical editor.
Thanks. Ndo matopic andofarira kunzwa manje ayo. It's only we never get to talk about that. And I'm not trying to say kuti I'm trying to sabotage zvinenge zvichitwa na Blama Simba, but zviri inclusive nevanhu vakawanda ndo andofarirawo. So kana ndakuclasha nevanhu vari kune dzimwe nyika maZimbabwe vari kuzimba nefellow, I'm down and interested in that because clash is a musical. Tungofara hatisi kutukana. Ndogona kuimba ndikakuti
and then totaita tori different topic than inenge topic because inenge ri sound clash.
Matopedza mundibate papa
inenge ndongori different zvinenge siri
in the reason
unless kana achigona kuimba ukwazi.
Aiwa kana achida kuya kumusic anouya inini ndangoti nangu in the reason zvangu BhukuReBenzi nhasi ngaachikontinue handichatombonyore kana kucomment inini kandapa munamato soka zvinova ndasarenda mudara ukaona ndakupa munamato kai ndasarenda handichatombocomenta kana kutuka kana kuchiropodza. If I don't understand something, I don't. I've tried to elaborate my own criticism towards it and how I felt, but ndaresigna. Kumangoma tosangana. Zvoti kumangoma matopic emangoma whoever you have to bring on that topic, I'm very keen because I think that's more like me.
Rasta.
Yes, mukuru wangu. Sorry, good evening. Ndasina kutarisa kuti chingopopota chete tarisa mabazuwa uka. Sorry. Maswera mushero wa mawere.
Yeah. Do you think life was created to allow one to be the judge?
No. Nobody should be the judge. So munafano judge avanhu zvangafita bla ava. So an example,
not,
no one should be the judge.
What is a book to you?
A book to me right now, as I'm giving an example of an existing situation. Book ndratsukunyora according to what we're seeing and witnessing. I'm saying.
What is the book?
A book?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see where I can start defining a book, because that's yes.
What is life? What is life to you? What is
because all the above? What is life to me? Yeah. Life to me is a very broad topic too. When I'm breathing, that's life to me. When I'm breathing, that's life to me.
That when we say working on my dash, that's your life.
That's right.
It is unscripted, random, unpredictable, subjective, corrupt, nepotistic, irrational. That we as individuals, human beings, we live through life sometimes without taking notice of what it is that we are living through, and without understanding that life as a start and it is an end.
Definitely. Life does have a start, which is childbirth, and then after birth, we're only waiting to die.
After born, you don't have a roadmap, you don't have a pathway to death. You have to live it to get
live a legacy.
No, you don't live a legacy.
Let something good be said about you that will live on after you're gone.
You don't live life to be remembered for the good things. In life, there are people who see the good and the bad in you. So even nunzi chaidzo dzinotsvaka nyama, but hadziinvitwi kunyama. So anything that you do, other people will comment anyway.
True.
Some will be angry, some will be happy. But just keep going, because life is a journey. Each step is a new step. Whether you are gifted or you are not, you are disabled, you are challenged, you still have a step. Each step is forward. We can reverse gear, but that's not life. Life is about moving from 0 to 0. in between our experiences. Some are recorded, some are documented. Some people just don't document. You know, even Mark Zuckerberg and his colleagues, his student colleagues, they were trying to solve a problem of book of faces. How do I create pictures, book of faces, and call it Facebook? It was just a book. That we have an album and we call it a book. But each picture has a story of its own. There was no live shows. It was just supposed to be a book of faces. Some will create a, a book of videos, audios. Some will write about it. Some will convert audio into text. Some will convert video, is it MP4 to MP3? So life is what it is. It is just a series of events. I was at a lunch, and you know who was calling me? It was Mkwama Simba. He called me 4 times to say, come, come. Then I come, he's not there. So I said, no, give me 4. There's a lesson that I want you to hear. And so I came to hear the lesson. I come in. The person who was calling me was a student. And that shows you how temporary life is. That you can die and the show goes on. That Mkwama Simba can be absent and the book is still going. Because we are the people who make life. And you know, Rasta, somebody asked me, what is death? And I said, I'm too small to know what death is. My ears are too small to know what the universe of life is and death is. Somebody dies while I'm talking to you, but I don't know the person. Do I call that death? Loss of life, yes. But death only means something to someone you know who is no longer there in flesh. How many graveyards are full of books that were never written? How many people live through life and nobody talks about them? How many people get into groups, WhatsApp groups, they are eloquent in their silence. Say nothing, do nothing. Even shared knowledge is the greatest gift of all. Yesterday, you sent me a message and says, this platform that you have introduced here is very good. I can do this, I can do that. You know what I did? I just copied and pasted what you wrote. What to write, Rasta? Rasta. Rasta is gone as well.
Yes, I'm here.
Did I tell you what to write yesterday?
Hello, I'm here.
Did I tell you what to write yesterday?
No, not at all.
You wrote on your own what came to your mind. And when someone was reading it, he says, what Rasta is saying about merchants actually is what I was thinking as well.
Yes, that's the first thing that went to my head when I logged in and I saw merchants and I thought something like trading. So maybe you'll explain it a little bit more because it was a pretty attractive side of things.
Yeah. But it was only on Friday that one member of C2C raised the issue about transfers of money, banking charges. That guys, every time I send money to somebody, I send £100. I pay for sending money to somebody, but the receiver receives the net amount, but the receiver doesn't know. If I have to send you £100, I pay something to send money to you.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's true.
Yeah.
Bank, fees, like world remit and stuff. Yeah.
That's right. But how many of us actually count how much it costs us to send money to our loved ones?
Yeah, I know. It's annoying. The more you send, the higher the charge is actually.
Yeah. So if I had to send one lump sum, like a salary, and then I start finding ways of paying less. If I transfer money to Chiesa, then she pays less and I pay less. And all this came from BhukuReBenzi.
Yep, that's true. It all came from BhukuReBenzi.
It all came from BhukuReBenzi. Because the developer on Thursday last week, he was driving a long distance. So he decided to listen to BhukuReBenzi, because we are in a WhatsApp group where I shared it. So he just wanted to understand what is this Benzi about? And what is this BhukuReBenzi? So he stumbled on a conversation between Mkoma Masimba and Mason and Mfudzi. And when he arrived where he arrived, he pretty much had a clear idea as to who was the Benzi in that conversation. And you know what he said? The one who calls himself Benzi actually appears to be normal.
He is normal. Oh, my.
But the comments that he was reading suggested that there could be more insane people who spend their lives like peeping toms on other people's lives. Checking over the juror hall to hear whether there's sex in the bedroom, so that they can have something to talk about. Because they are not complete human beings who can just live their life and stay on their lane and just mind their business. True. And don't mix their business with Benzi. But they want to be part of this Benzi story book. But then they say, don't call it a book, you stupid. Because you can't write a book about your own life. And you are living it in front of other people's lives. And they say you can't write it. And Mkoma Masemba says, I'm actually including you. You are part of my book. You are part of my book. You are part of my story. You are part of my life. On the 18th of October, I was with you, Rasta. And you are saying on the same show, I want to divorce my own story in the book. That this is my last show. After this, I'm giving up.
BhukuReBenzi heavy mudara. BhukuReBenzi randiremera bakuru wangu. Aiwa. BhukuReBenzi ranitra heavy. Ndambotanga kurinzwisisa but
because you are misunderstanding life. You make choices. There is nothing heavy that you have no choice about, unless freedom is denied of you or divested from you. You are free to decide when to sleep, when to wake up, what to wear. Why do you want to be the reason why BhukuReBenzi exists?
Ndara mawe,
Aiwa,
one point of order. Ndara, one point of order, Ndara. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Moire, thank you very much. What I'm Ndara, patema mapa panapa, manisi antina Samaita. Right? Then, ndabanda invite Rasta. Rasta Bawia. The moment Rasta happened, the Samaita Bati, no, Ningina, I'm doing one-on-one with you. That okay, one-on-one who needs a scoopere, the Monza Rasta. And Saka tell me one-on-one ya pera ere. That Saka Samaita akorita mistake yake, atora responsibility. Assure kuti no mpano mindripo one-on-one. Go Rasta up and a copy. Do paka ita mistake last time, but he has learned a lesson. Papina Rasta.
Kuna kuda kuyo shida usikonyepo we expect kuti ndonyarara kapanapa. Andinyarare kandikuterera kazvakutaura. Unzwa.
But Samaita, why argue with a fool when you are not
No,
a
I
fool?
want to get Jarguita Panapa and the Panapa social media. This video here is going to go.
No, but why did you just
No, this video here. Everyone's two. I'm just going. But in the time I Garapana Pechon millions of people.
No, but Rasta Wagdo revised as text. He has said to you that there is a lesson to learn. Either you say yes or I don't have to learn. And we move to the next one.
I think the lesson and get your paper
No, but you are now imposing. Is there no lesson? Just
but
to learn.
He's just imposed the lesson.
No. I'm saying in terms of speaking, stepping up the plate, and standing like a man on your feet and say no.
True, sir. It is not true because I disagreed and I said it wasn't a one-to-one because I wasn't the first person to have a conversation.
He is not giving you the lesson. He is saying, I'm giving the lesson to the world because my book is not Samaita. I'm just using Samaita as a case study.
As a guinea pig.
Yeah, we are all case studies. Other people are watching us while we are just walking.
No, but because I don't admit I don't so Patikaita debate 3-5, it was a one-to-one. It was a
no, he's not saying that. He's saying the lesson is I'm invited to one-to-one sex. I end up in a group sex.
At least but this time I did the right thing because I've corrected.
Yeah, because
I did the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing because I didn't correct him. But there wasn't anything to correct him for.
He says I fell in love with one, then I end up in a group love. So all he's saying is that how many people end up compromising or acquiescing themselves to this nonsense of group thinking and thrown into groups when they just want to speak their minds as individuals one-to-one.
Ndara, mukabvunza Samaita kuti papinda Rasta panapa. Haana here kuti munengina Rasta ari kudei panapa haisi one-on-one here. So I've learned kuti munhu unomudzidzisa to be organized in a smart way. Kumutaura kuti be organized, anoramba munhu. But I'm fully organized.
Ndatogara nditori organized like that nakudhara. But kuti ndikuchallenge like fanga zvandakuita apa ezvinezvi zvanditika. Because there are two different scenarios altogether. You are mixing up scenarios. Here we had the one-to-one chat in Wetistatanga. You added Rasta, I challenge you. And Pai wakatanga one-to-one yako weweka na chipo. Then of course it's a 2-to-1. Then of course it's a 3-to-1.
No, Samaita.
A different
scenario. Samaita kumashure.
But ndikumugadzirisa kazvari kutaura ari kuisa mawedzi.
Ichazoya lesson yaSamaita vakurana show yavo.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let him taste a lie.
That's how wars are built. When you say I'm not going to allow another human being to be himself. Who are you, Samaita?
So exactly, that's exactly what you're doing right now. Because you are cornering me. Ndiende kuno agree. Disagree. See, the Samaita is saying, no, do not agree to this. This is not you.
No, I'm saying is allow the person to push their lesson. You know what somebody says, Samaita? And
No, he needs to push his lesson on reality, not on a lie. He's based on a lie.
You know, we don't know whether the Bible is written as a fiction story or a reality story.
It is, that's why I don't follow it. And that's why I'm not following this story of his, because this is fiction. What he's saying, isn't it? Because that's not my reality. Because when he invited me first time, it was 5 people. It was not a one-to-one. He needs to take off that word one-to-one. Because one-to-one is a individual.
What is reality to you? It's for another day. You don't have to answer.
Okay.
So I think let's try to draw lessons for other people. It's all too often that we end up in a group, yet we are not a group. We end up one-to-one, and what we are trying to say, C to C, is not C to one. It's C to C. It's connections to communities. That I start as an individual, but life is more meaningful when we are connected and when we share ideas. There's nothing wrong with being promised one-to-one, but the one is in the oneness of the two. We can be one-on-one pretending we're different. One is a monkey, one is a human being. It's only when we understand that we have one identity that we can begin to live up to the promise of life. How many people want to be different when they are the same? When we say we hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, we are saying we can never have one-on-one because we are one.
Yeah, no, I think now you make sense now. Now I've got your point. Since Masimba, Signor Nakudaga, vanga one agenda, one thinking we ran against it became one-on-one. Although there were three. Now
although you were alone, you were the grain in the sun.
One-on-one, man. That's fine.
Yeah, they collapsed in one mindset. Mawere is our target.
Oh, yes. Imagine thank you for clarifying.
Live life, and their preoccupation is talk about another person, not themselves. So they become one in evil thinking, in bad thinking. They become one to vilify somebody, to attack somebody, to substitute somebody. So they alone become the wise men from the East.
Yeah, that's perfect. So now I get it.
To collapse everybody. So that Samaita is seen as a mad person for just asking, what is fact? What is fiction? How many of us are in many pages in books where fact becomes fiction and fiction becomes fact. And they say Samaita atengwa. Samaita is a puppet, is a stooge. Samaita is benefit of thinking. Because Samaita has stood on his feet to say what is wrong must be condemned even by one voice. And that voice will ring volumes of what you believe in. That there can never be justice when people who are complete human beings occupy their minds with hatred of somebody, with superstition over somebody's life who is alive to tell his own story. If you tell me that I had yesterday, who am I to challenge you? It's none of my business. I don't have to challenge that which does not change the quality of my life. Then I spend 1 hour, 2 hours talking about nonsense. This man is mad. Do you look what he has done? Somebody tells me don't associate with Mkoa Masimba, but they want me to associate with themselves, with nothing in between their ears, except to gossip. I get into many conversations where the name Mnangagwa, the name Mugabe occupies everything. So I say, why don't you just change your name to Mnangagwa? You can become the popular gig. Why don't you change your name to Chamisa? And you become a popular gig. When I tweeted something, Chamisa sent a message to me. Naam Koma, what sin have I committed? I said, you have committed no sin, Chamisa. But God is for everybody. There is no leader I'm waiting for. I'm not waiting for you to be president. So don't count me in. When you say you want to be president first, then things will be okay. Why are you fooling yourself? Great men have lived and they died too. What makes you so special that you think you are ordained, anointed to be a servant of the people? What is a servant? How many people take people for granted? How many people don't answer phone calls? If you say, come to Mkoma Masimba, they will tell you that man is a sick man. He ate Dodi Mawere. Why are you associating yourself with an outcast? But they would then say, I am a Christian. I believe in God. When Jesus was sent to associate with Mapenzi, he was not sent to associate with the wise people. But he came to show that every person counts. And then some people say, I'm retiring from BhukuReBenzi. When Jesus came to write BhukuReBenzi, who am I to write the perfect book where I become the superstar of my own life, of my own story? And I alone become the Rambo of the movie. And I know better. And I start discriminating and say, those belong to the outcast. Mawere, don't you have better time? But I said I would rather be a mentor to Mkoma Masimba than to mentor those who think they know. I can't mentor Mufuzi. I tried and I failed because he knows more than me about me. I can't mentor Signoro. I can't mentor Maponga because he knows. He's got a spirit. And I'm just a victim of his connection to the spirit. Then he wants to be a president. He said, Mawere, help me to be a president of Zimbabwe so that I continue to urinate on you. You say, let's talk about life. He says, your life doesn't matter. My life matters more because I'm too special. I was born to be president of which country? In his head, 2 ears, inside between those 2 ears, the whole world resides. That's the address of the world. And that world is divided into white people, black people. But he can't create one person, not even one. But he's got the audacity to divide people as a beneficiary of someone's grace. If he was God, how many of us would be dead, would be fugitives? And he alone thinks Zimbabwe is his claim. And he is justified, among others, above others, to claim Zimbabwe as his own domain. What kind of foolishness is that? And Samaita is subjected to this kind of primitive thinking. And he is left he's abandoned by Mkoma Masimba, who is refusing to learn, to say you can't do that. If you are a general, stay the course. Even if you are not in the front line, be there to see that the battle is done, is finished. But don't sleep on the wheel. When the future is at stake, you say you are interested in Zimbabwe, yet you are interested in yourself being presiding over foolishness. Under your watch, people can come and expose their foolishness, their primitiveness. He's telling you about Muzimu. Signor tells you about culture. What culture is that? He doesn't know the person he's talking about. Yet he's a God who can decide who is a thief, who is not. He's now the judge of social media. He wants me to answer to him. What audacity would allow somebody to elevate himself to take high-heeled shoes of life? And he stands tall. But when you remove those shoes, he's just a short man, like Hitler, with an inflated ego. What kind of nonsense is that? Who is Benzi, the one who takes high-heeled shoes and said I was born tall? Or the one who doesn't need any high-heeled shoes of life? Elevates, one says, I'm a lawyer. In phoning me to threaten me, to tell me that, please, don't associate yourself with riffraff. And yet the same person, Mkoma Masimba, when confronted, he says, I know her. How do you know her? We were closer with no shit between the two of us. And the person is threatening me, don't associate with a person that you were nude with. Huh? And naively, I thought this person is what? Is coming from the East, a wise person from the East who went to law school to learn to be civilized, to have civility. Just say, morning, my name is so-and-so. If I don't understand anything, I just ask a question. But if you know everything, who is Benzi? So we are being provoked to think about life. What is life? Who is smart in the business of life? How many people think they know what tomorrow holds? Yet they are just one step away from death, from being crippled. Yet they don't know. How many smart people have been visited with misfortune? And yet those who are not so smart live through life quietly, full of happiness. And those we think have overcome everything are the same people who are going through hell. This morning, somebody sent me a message, angry with me that I must be a leader. I said, how do I lead you when you are born to lead your own life? Says, Mawere, you're being naive. I said, if there was a country and you are the only citizen, I would be your president because you are gullible enough to trust me to be your president. I don't have the wisdom to substitute a human being. When he's thirsty, I give him water. When he's hungry, I give him food. I am not Jesus. So why do you want me to lead you where I've not been? I ask. There are people who want me to be a leader of their own lives. How crazy can that be? I tell you what to wear. I tell you what to do. Then what does that make me? A human being? No, I'm a person of flesh, a sinner like any other human being. I don't have better wisdom of things I don't know, even of what life is. Then I sit there and I promise you that do this, then this will happen. I am here just to witness, to be a witness that life is so complicated that those who are fools are the ones who point the finger at those they call fools without looking in the mirror and defining what a fool is.
Mr. Mawere, on a point of order.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mawere, here's my summary as I finish this video. Number one, Mr. Mawere, I have Samaita, a fully paid member of C2C. I have Rasta, a fully member of C2C. But they don't know what is C2C. Why am I saying this to you, Mr. Mawere? Samaita was upset with me. He knows that when I deal with him, Samaita, we don't script anything. Fact. He's got a fact that me and him, we don't do any scripts. We just meet live and talk. Then you went on to assume that I scripted a show with this Kuda. That assumption is now overtaking what he knows. Then I told him, I never scripted anything. Just like what I always do with you, I reminded him who I am. But he ignored the signals. Then, what I did to try to explain to him in a dramatic way about BhukuReBenzi, I then went on to invite Rasta. Rasta is in Australia. I invited Rasta at midnight. Rasta just came. Rasta is also a C2C fully paid member. I've got 2 fully paid members now, Mr. Mawere, BhukuReBenzi. But they don't even know what is C2C. They want me to do things for them. To no one is asking, I want to start to host my own shows. Teach me how to do that. They're just waiting for me to come up with a plan. Mr. Mawere, I learn, I unlearn, then I learn again. Mr. Mawere, my final words, say, BhukuReBenzi, so far, ndimi BhukuReBenzi. Unaiwa koma wango. Rasta wa ya pano, Mr. Mawere. Then Samaita was complaining with his Kuda. I hijacked your show, Masimba. Then I kept quiet. Rasta awaya pano na Samaita. Then they hijacked the show for 1 hour and I was quiet. Samaita na Rasta are now exactly like Kuda. Rasta never asked me mpana wami wanti dezi chipanapa. Wangu we wakati Masimba okuti nyadzisa. But Masimba kuti imi mandi nyadzisa Rasta. Maka muri C2C. You've done nothing kula Mdara. Mdara muda kuti Mdara kuitirei. Rasta, by now you should be able to host your own shows. Musa Chemeneni, be responsible, Rasta. Push a border you. Mr. Mawere, this is my presentation to you as your student. You are my mentor. Can you see Mdara? When I look at Saban Mashaman, most people ignore what is Mawere say. Taka focus on kuti herald yatu kudi. Mudara. Whenever Mdara. I hope this will answer. You could say she's Mawere akaba marido. Say she's Mawere fugitive. Because you know the ignorance. Kuda kungo yitirwa. Takaitirwa ne hera wa Mdara. Atina wita homu kidu Mdara. So this book, I'm looking for my mother Mdara. I'm showing you Mdara. I've learned. Whenever that is hapa Mdara. What is your take, Mr. Mawere? Mchitana kula namkoma wangu wao. Kuti wakoma na tine basa.
Sorry, Mr. Mawere msati mapindura.
Okay.
Tsana vaisa zita rangu mazviri ini ndinogara ndakatozvipindurira. First you said that Masimba, you said that isusu we've never asked you to teach us to do a live. Akakuudza kuti ne experience yekuita live kuvhura inini kana kuti ndine ma problems ekuita live ndiyani. Andatanga kuita ma live angu nhasi pauri iweweka. Facebook anotanga ine nhasi. Musi wako wakatanga kujoina Facebook, iwe akakuudza kuti wakajoina Facebook before ini, just because you tanga tiri my same social circles doesn't mean that I'm not capable of doing a live. I've spoken to you about this here. I told you that when I get my material and when I'm ready, I'm going to start my own show. And this thing what Gundam said, I'm not out here for a competition. I'm not here to prove myself to anyone. I've got to have the right, correct material that makes it that feels right for me. One and single lose identity now. To join you on your lives, it's by invitation. I don't force myself on your lives. So don't think that I cannot do mine when you see me on yours. I come to yours just because you've invited me. And then when I'm ready, at my own time, I've got my own data, I've got my own gadgets, I've got the link for the show. I'll press my own green button and have my own show. Saka pakuti teach me up. Don't expect me to do kwauri ndisikotinda usodzidziswa kwauri because so far pane zvinhu zvandadzidza kubva kwauri ka hapana chinhu chekutoti izvo chandikuona kwauri chingave chiri new chekuti chingashamisire chekuti ndidzidze. Just because I don't speak about it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't know or I've not figured you out. Just because I don't talk about it. But maybe in a different topic, in a different show. Now, as panga ndine zvinhu zvekutaura newewo direct, I did tell you. Ndakabvunza ma-questions ekuti wakazozviita rini kwewewe immigration officer, etc. All right. Then number 2, Papa, you keep on saying that I was like an experiment in that. I disagree that I was an experiment because then under experiment, when I need experiment, I think I say sure the outcome. And it a conclusion, a result. Arkuzamazam. You used me as bait. Bait, JJ, not experiment. That's my opinion. Wakatondisa pa hook uchitozia conclusion yachona kuti tichaenda kupi based on an assumption yekutoti how you think kutoti you had figured me out but not knowing the real me. Ndosaka zvakazopedzisira zvazoenda kwazvakaenda until nhasi. And number 3 and last, you used the word yekutoti upset. I was never upset. Upset is a big word. And I'm not still upset, God, but I had questions to ask you. I needed closure. That doesn't make me upset. I was curious. Mr.
Moire, I would like to bring it to your attention, say, as your student, I identified the problem. Then I said, I want to write a book. The book is dedicated to you. I hope you are now understanding why even people like Maponga, with all my due respect, called you a fugitive or fugitive. Can you see Samaita Astumunzwisisa? He is confirming that I invited him. He's telling the world I'm organized. He's telling the world we set up an agenda which is one-on-one. He's telling the world we came when there were 5 people. He's exposing how stupid he is to join a meeting with 5 people, yet our purpose, me and Samaita as one. He's telling the world he failed to take control, to say, Mningina, remember we've got one-on-one. For now, I can talk to these other people. He failed to be responsible. Then he blames Nkoba Masimba. How many people are blaming Mnangagwa, President Mnangagwa, that Zimbabwe is down because of Mnangagwa? Yet the same people, they fail to be responsible to make sure Mnangagwa will never destroy Zimbabwe. Mr. Mawere, I'm writing a book. I'm looking for my mother. Rasta came here, Mr. Mawere. They spoke for 1 hour and I was quiet. Then comment section was telling them, you guys are talking too much. What is Mukoma Masiba saying? Then I started to pin those comments and they ignored. They are not good at multitasking. They just want to participate on what they don't know. That is my submission to you, Mr. Mawere. As I claim my purpose of life, Mr. Mawere, in your own words, when this is one night, Mr. Mawere is already interrupting
you. Talking about comments
again.
You very well know that we cannot see comments. Can I trip up? You my comments are going to be Saka, how were they ignored? On when you did not read them out, when it's supposed to be your show that you're sharing.
2 minutes.
Mr. Mawere, because they were talking too much. Then I started to pin comments. Then they failed to address a comment. They wanted me to read the comment for them. Mr. Mawere, this is my submission to you, say, as your student. You, imimi muri wana musibenzi mdara. Wonai,
No,
BhukuReBenzi,
I'm
Test
also
BhukuReBenzi. Thank you.
to you. I may not be Benzi. To others, I am. Some already would certify that I am. Some would find me guilty by association. But Samaita, from what I see, a glass can be half full. It can also be half empty. The more we keep on arguing about things we can't change, the less we move. But the lesson in the past has the capacity to inform, to provoke, to educate, to ignite and inspire others to think about an issue of the present and find a better way of understanding it. What does one lose when you are called a fool and you are not a fool? When you are called a case study and you are not a case to study. But in doing so, even the prophets of yesterday, the people with wisdom, they used parables. Why would they use parables and not just say it as it is? The Bible without lessons is not a book. Those lessons are deeply founded on the purpose of life. But we don't, as individuals, want to go back. That yadeuka, but lessons can be learned. Is there anything to learn about pointing fingers? Yes. There are many people who prayed hard so that Caesar must not die. But Caesar could not cheat death. He also died. And his absence did not give anyone a better sense of life security than was before Caesar, when Caesar was in charge. Or we call charge. Yet the Creator never made it easy for one person, however gifted or bloated in ego, the ability to know more than what an individual can know, the ability to be the universe, the ability to be superior to another. We were all given the same second of life. If you call it nanosecond, it is. None of us have better wisdom. So when you look at somebody writing a book, I was confronted in 2006 by Mduduzi Matutu saying, Mkoma, I love to learn from you. But after you speak to me, I can't write anything because you have overfed me with so many ideas that I don't know which one to take. And he asked me to write myself. And I honored him. I wrote every week an article. It was called Mutuma Mawere Column. And I said, I will convert this book into conversations with Mutuma Mawere. The first book, I called it When Minds Meet. Because I discovered that my mind could never meet with many people. Every time I tried to explain who I am, I was interrupted because the people knew who I am. I go to an airport, somebody rocks up and says, I worked for you. But I can't recognize the person. But they have confidence that they know me better than I do. So I've learned to be polite and accept that, yes, you did work for me. And then what? The person says, you must know me. And how many of us are confronted with this version? Somebody says, I know the glass is half full, and I believe it to be. Another says it's half empty, and both are correct. So who am I to argue with people who think they know me better? But when somebody calls you a fugitive, then they must know you better than you know yourself. Because a fugitive has 2 points in life. One way he's running from, and the other way he arrives and calls home. So I said, all these years, wouldn't you look for the signal of the place Mawere abandoned and make it a museum so that others may learn what being a fugitive means? There are people who left Zimbabwe in fear. But why confuse those people with somebody else? I would know, Signor, to say, Signor, take me to the address where Mawere ran away from. That's all Samaita was asking. If he's a fugitive, he has distanced himself from that, which means you bear the honors or the obligation to prove your claim. Yet when you ask that, they coalesce, seek refuge in stupidity. So Mkwama Simba, the lessons that you have even Rasta to say, what is C to C? I said to Rasta 2 weeks ago, he introduced me to Fraser Mutumwa, who shares his last name is my first name. And he says, can you explain to Fraser what is C to C? I said, Fraser, if I was Jesus, I would not die. Because I will have to keep on coming back to explain that connections like the four of us, when we come together and we negotiate in our self-interest, but we need a platform where we can shift our own thinking, not hope to change somebody to be what they don't want to be, or to invite them to come and join C to C. There is nothing called C to C, but a community exists for the willing. We can come together. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, I gave the logos to Rasta, thinking that by tomorrow he will give me the output. And I gave him my thinking about the show that you had agreed. I said, let's make it the community, the lesson that we are learning today. They can be the lesson so that never again can somebody bring Jesus to lead the Christians. This is a community of people with no living leader. And he was a genius who said, if 2 or more gather in my name or in his name, it means he's not dead. Because how can you meet in the name of Mkwama Simba, then vilify him again? Somebody comes here and says, what are you talking about today? Where are you? I'm BhukuReBenzi. Then you say, I am not Benzi. Why come to BhukuReBenzi unless you are willing to submit yourself? Jesus was never a Christian, but the followers are Christians. Yet, generation after generation, 2020 years later, churches have been built in his name. Assets have been created in his name. Marriages have been consummated. Love has been brewed in his name. Yet nobody has seen him. How brilliant it is to have a human being who can come before you and insult him. That why did you use your time the way you use it? I remember Michael Jackson telling me that he is an instrument of nature. I didn't expect that from him. But I asked him, like a fool,
Dara, on a
what
point of
ex-
order, can you explain? You are mentioning Michael Jackson. Did you meet him in person? When, why, and how? And what lessons did you learn?
I met him in Namibia. He had come to visit with Don Badon, who was involved in business there, assembling GM trucks, GM cars for pursuant to a contract in Namibia. The then Prime Minister, who is now the President of Namibia, invited us, I happened to be in Namibia, to his house. And that's where I met Michael Jackson there. And the lesson I learned from him was from his mouth himself. He said he is an instrument of nature. And that intrigued me because I didn't expect him to say that. And when I asked him to explain what he meant by being an instrument of nature, I see Julia says, now Mr. Mawere is showing off. I can't show off something that I don't know. I can't create Michael Jackson in my life when I never met. It's not necessary. All I'm giving is a lesson. And he said, look, I have a gift given for free. And my job is to share it. So I am like a vessel who never applied to be who I am. But here I am everywhere I go. People recognize me. I got brothers, sisters too. But sometimes I'm a shy person. But the person who gave me the gift had the purpose. But I must use it. I must express it. And when I look at myself, if there was a lottery of life, what would I choose to be? And that made me think, would I choose to be a businessman? And what is a businessman other than a mask? I'm an instrument to solve problems. And when I know what life is, I will know better that my purpose is the grace that I can't quantify. So if Mandela said, if I was asked, who would you want to have gone to Robben Island to become a president for 5 years? He said it will still be me.
Dara, you are now mentioning Mandela. So you have met Mandela. What lessons have you learned from Mandela? When, how, and why?
He said he just, and I met him many times, but one significant one, a story he told. He said he was in Bahamas, I think at Sun International Hotel, is it Atlantis or something? So he left the hotel just to take a walk. And as he was walking, people kept on coming to him like flies, wanting to get him to sign autographs. And there was a young girl with her mother who started pestering her mother to identify this old man who people were rushing to get autographs. She had never heard of this old man. And says, Mom, so the mom knew about South Africa, about Mandela. So she was explaining, and every explanation that she gave did not make sense to this little girl. So the mother was exasperated. Meanwhile, Mandela was hearing this conversation. Then he could not help but stop everything and walk over to talk to this girl and the mother. So he got there, he picked up the girl and held her. So she was now closer to the person. Says, "You old man, what are you famous for?" And he says, "I'm not famous." So he gave her his name. He says, "But why are you famous?" Because while he was holding her, the crowds were coming. The crowds were coming. And the focus was Mandela to continue signing. So he couldn't explain what he was famous for. And he took the girl back and walked back to the hotel, got back to his room, and locked himself. And started to think about his life, how meaningless it was. But you are confined, come out there, you become a celebrity. Some actually wanted to be celebrities. But at no stage in his life did he wish to be who he was not. He just lived day by day, made mistakes as everybody else, yet others would want him to be superhuman. And how tragic that other people would say, "You made the choice so that you can lead us," when that is not the reason why life turned out to be the way it is. He was a prisoner, 4664 or something, and he paid the price and did what he needed to do just to stay alive and come out there sharing stages with all the nobility, all the pop stars, all the celebrities. Others could explain that from childhood I wanted to be on top of the mountain. Now I'm there. Yet this man never had hopes to be a celebrity. Yet he's being celebrated. Yet his life is being celebrated. Others did not want to associate with him. And yet he comes on top of the food chain of power. You call him a president. And he calls himself a sinner, not a president.
Thank you.
A sinner who kept on sinning, but can't explain why he is celebrated. So that's one lesson. Don't do anything so that others may learn from you. If you are saying something that is sensible, it will remain sensible. You don't have to try hard to force Rasta to be who he is not. If he's gifted as he is, he will be like Michael Jackson and share his in the name of C2C. In the name of Jesus, C2C is just a name. And yet when 2 or 3 come, tomorrow we'll be celebrating the genius of Rasta. There is nothing more that is required. Just show up. Step forward. Express your gift. It's not yours. How many graveyards are full of gifted people? Yet in life they chose to hide it, waiting for the best person to pay for it, not knowing that the more you volunteer, the more you create institutions, associations, communities, it is those people who share how gifted you are. But don't advertise yourself like a doctor. Only a foolish doctor will say, come to me, then you won't die. But a good doctor would just say, I'll do the best I can with the time God has given me. And if I fail, it doesn't mean I didn't try my best, but I'll be there while death takes over. So we have a lot of people like Samaita who says, wait for me. I'm God. I'll be ready. But God has no timetable. He can take you away with voices that remain in you, hidden. Thank God, Mkoa Masimba. History will never forget you. But it will include all of us. Because we showed up. We didn't say no, because BhukuReBenzi, then we are able to walk away. If we can learn from you, why not Samaita learn from you as well? Why would Samaita say no? There's nothing to learn, as if he's the only one. There are many other people who are groping for wisdom, for direction, when life has no direction. Samaita, that there are people who come to say, I don't want to be a member. I also did a gesture. And I want you to be diverted to look at Mkoa Masimba and Mawere. And not look about the agency. What Martin Luther King said, the agents of acting now. That don't go to a hospital when you are not sick. It's a waste of time. But nobody can give you a timeline to see a doctor when you are sick. If you can do something today, do it. If you can sleep faster, sleep 2 hours and keep going. Because you are going to die anyway. There are many people who are 60-year-olds and they spend 20 years sleeping. Yet life is to be lived. Your words must be spoken. Why give you a voice and you can't use it? So when we say amazing grace, we are saying the grace that is amazing is itself a bridge to bring laughter to others. How many are so selfish that they want grace only to themselves? They want one-on-one. People call me and say, I want to be mentored by you. I said, while I'm mentoring you, what about the others who need the same wisdom you want? And after I give you the wisdom, you don't have the courage to stand up and say, I'm a mentee, I'm learning. Life is a laboratory of lessons. I don't have wisdom, but I've come across people with wisdom who I've listened to. Somebody says, I'm in the trenches of life. I'm pulling my wagon. Don't mix your business with my business. In times of war, I prepare for peace. In times of peace, I prepare for war. Life is like spinning plates. You juggle so many things just to get by with life. When I see you walking on your feet, I salute you because I played no part in giving you confidence to confront life as a person, as a complete person. And how many look down upon others? and think they alone were born to be different. So that is the lesson of life. Life is like a dash, like a one, like a hyphen. When you go to my tombstone, you will see born on this day, died on this day. And what connects the two dates is just a hyphen. That's life. I can't be dead for one day only to live another day. Then you have dash, 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 dash. No, it's just one. That's your life. One day you will appear to be a fool, not for long. One day you go to school to learn from another fool called a teacher. But don't go to school to insult the teacher. Give him his space to be a teacher, so that when you learn, you become a greater teacher of tomorrow. Because wisdom is not permanent, temporary. That today I will appear to be wise, only to allow my former students to be wiser than me. That's passing on the baton so that others may also be on the stage. That is life. So there are many lessons. People who say BhukuReBenzi is about the person of Mkoma Masimba. How many people give up their time so that others can smile? How many were in prison so that others can be free, including them? Yet others say, you were stupid. Couldn't you have done better? Protect your family, get a CV, get a nice car, a nice house, and be on top of the mountain. Yet without those people, where would someone climb the mountain? So life has a lot of lessons. Nobody knows what it is, but we live through it. And with the courage that we know what it is. So in the words of Martin Luther King, I have seen the promised land with mine eyes. He has already seen the glory of the Lord. But he said, I may not get there with you. But we as a people, we make the personality, the character of Zimbabwe what it is. We define it. And we shape it. Are we doing that? Even on this platform? How many people think the Zimbabwe problem has got an address? And that address is the person of the president, the ministers, and what they're forgetting that we are all in it. We all give it character. Even those who are blind, give it character. We can't talk about it. Let's show up for it. Zimbabwe doesn't exist, doesn't have a stomach. But how many fools tell you that they're working for Zimbabwe? They are more patriotic. Yet when we look at JFK, ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. And if you are a member of C2C, you revise it and ask not what C2C can do for you, but what you can do for yourself in the name of C2C. So Rasta, you are C2C. There is no manual of life to tell you what C2C is, what it should be. Just be yourself. Find yourself in others. Express your gift. Sing the songs that have not been sung. I gave you a song. Change the world. You are the change you are waiting for. How many weeks did Mkoa Masimba negotiate with you? That Friday we are going to have a show. That is called Rasta. Where are we? How far are we? It's not free time that God gives. Very expensive time. Because when He takes it from you, there is no gift that is important. There is no wealth that is important. There is no bank balance that is important. But history doesn't lie. It will tell your story eloquently. This is what I did. Not slogans of what I could have done. Because what you do is actually more important than what you claim to do. Just do it. Rather than ask for a professor to tell you what life is, when he has to live it himself. There's no expert. So I hope those who can listen with ears, they have listened. What I have said is not for me. It's not my words. But I'm just speaking as what Michael Jackson said, as an instrument. And an instrument does not play music on its own. It needs a human being to play it. So life is about you and I. What we choose to do in the name of life. If it's sweet to see, if two or more gather in its name, like here we are 4 members saying, what shall we say? And somebody who gives you a weapon called a microphone and use it to project a sense of building bridges, not dividing people based on rumor, innuendo, gossip. Let's build these clusters based on negotiated ideas. And we have the ideas that tomorrow will be great. We have the faith to live it. But faith without work is dead. So we have a lot to work to do, Samaita. You don't own a second. So let us admit that we are too small to control time. Otherwise, I'll have 26 hours in a day. But I don't. Never threaten that I'll do this tomorrow. When tomorrow it belongs to the ages. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to He who gave it and can withdraw it anytime before your threat is met. So let's not have big plans, a vision for life that I don't even control. Somebody have big visions. Just make them small. Let's learn as we go. So the lesson of today, I've understood it. That people want to be led by Benzi. And the Benzi takes you to the altar and tells you it's one-on-one, you believe him. And then when you arrive there, you are a groupie. Then you say, Benzi rakandinyephera. Saka harisi Benzi ka. So why don't you just write a book of the wise men who are like a computer programmed that will tell you what I tell you is the gospel. But a person is telling you that you are human. How many people are in marriages promising each other life they don't control, only to find one knife in the other, one shooting the other, and life ends. even for the people who love each other. So what is life, Samaita? Why not come here and just say, let's us learn together? And if I have to be the bad person in the learning, let me be the bad. Let me be the Lazarus of BhukuReBenzi. Let me be the fisherman who follows Jesus without knowing, without a compass, without a promise, just out of faith. That it can't be bad. Why would God give me life, then wish me bad, wish me evil? Why would God give all these greatest treasures that are meaningless without human effort in it? Why give land when the people have nothing to convert it into a harvest? So let us be the change. And I know how painful it is, Samaita, what you subjected yourself to, the tyranny of the majority who told you, who switched you off when you wanted to say something, because they didn't want you to say, because they were playing God. But you endured. You didn't lose anything. You gained a lot just by standing on your feet. And that's the lesson. That I could be lonely in a crowd, but I would rather be lonely standing for something than standing for nothing. How many people want to belong and they lose themselves in a crowd? But when you stand up, Samaita, you are standing up for all of us. So you are never alone. And the person who subjected you to that wanted just to confirm that you are an instrument of saying, hang on, slow down. Let us take stock of how far we have come. 40 years of independence, yet nobody is independent. We are dependent on our knees for another character to say, I'm a president, I'm this or that. Is that the life that the Creator intended for all of us? No. But how many pretend to be dictators of WhatsApp groups? They call themselves admin, little dictators with admin rights. And we say this is life. Then we want Mnangagwa to be a less of a dictator, yet we see them in our WhatsApp groups. While we're quiet, silent, even people say, Mawere, can you be an admin? Then tomorrow they call me a tyrant. Yet we create our own outcomes. So that, I hope, Mkwama Simba, I've answered in a convoluted
Yes.
way.
Thank you, Mdara. You've answered me. Samaita and Rasta, can you conclude your final words?
Rasta taure, do after. Is he still there?
I think he's sleeping because it's late.
Yeah, okay. No, Samaita is up, but I think is it right direction? Yeah. And then speaking for myself again, you know me, I always speak for myself. Yeah. Speaking for myself, I think maybe misunderstand or I didn't say that this platform doesn't teach me anything. I said I'm not going to learn anything from what he was trying to say, but not the platform, because he's not the platform. He's not C2C. C2C, I know that I can benefit loads, I can learn loads, but from to my tactics, that there, I don't see anything because I'm probably a man's and I'm probably a master in my own right of that art. Then last thing zvangu one chinhu changa chida understand chete chii kuna masimba direct question yakuyandobvunzani. You kept on saying that I misunderstand you and I'm blaming you. What do you think I'm blaming you for?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Moe, I want you to listen carefully. Number one, I learned from you. A fact is
Phone yako yalow and sikukunzwa sorry.
Okay. Sorry. 1212. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, taura but unzukira kuri but taura.
Okay. Mr. Moe, can you hear me?
Yeah, ndakunzwa manzwa.
Okay. Number one, Mr. Moe. You see, BhukuReBenzi, Mr. Moe, which I'm dedicating to you. Right? When I'm coming again, repeat for the last time. I ask I'm trying to build a shared understanding with him. Right? Mukoma ndavati one on one ndabhuka ndapedza kubhuka mukoma wabvuma pane consensual pari kuwirirana apa, then mukoma ndowatumira link. Mukoma is watching a show pane 105, then mukoma wauya pashow ipapapa. Wauya pashow ipapapa havana kuti handina kuvafosa, vauya vega. Right? Link ndavapa vakasenda request ndavaapprova. Vasvika ipapo mukoma pana kuda aripo kudhara. Kuda wacho ndamuita the same thing, ndamuti one on one, but vese hapana kwanisa kusvika nekuti iwe kuda one on one newewe. Vabva varamba vakanyarara. Can you see mudhara mukaona Winchina Masa zvaakaita paSMM Zimbabwe takaramba takanyarara. Right? Can you see mudhara kuti this BhukuReBenzi now is showing you the attitude a Zimbabwean which does not exist. But when they kuti there is nothing called Zimbabwean, anotaka kundiitira nharo. But imimi mudhara tokunzwanana, I'm trying to prove to you that you are right, Mr. Mawere. There's nothing called a Zimbabwean. Vapinda ipapo, inini wacho ndindavakoka. Then guess what they did? Vakatanga kutukana, kusvika ndakarara mudhara ndikamuka. Vapedza zvese kuda ari kundiblema kuti Masimba wakandiambusha, wakandiseta up. Samaita ari kundiblema the same. I even sent Samaita WhatsApp apa kuna kuda achitondishauta kuti yona Samaita mandiseta up. But Samaita haasi kupika kuti C2C ndiye iye Samaita. Ever since ajoina C2C haasati amboita kana show kana haasati avhura kamera yake kuti ataura kuti mufana handibata rafu. Akangonyarara chiti chaanongoita chiti kungopiwa mainvite achiuya pana achiti ndirimember. He does not even know what is C2C. Just like Rasta, he doesn't even know. And Mason too. But what would the C2C? So my question to you, Mr. Mawere, can you see I've identified the problem? Ndosaka panyaya dzemari ndakangoti munhu waanofana kubhadhara mari ndisinyoro. When I told them pay your money, they will come back kuti Masimba takabhadhara mari dzedu saka tiitira chakati. So I'm busy now trying to teach them that before you pay your money, you have to know kuti mari yako ndeyei. Because mangwana unozondinetsa. Like Samaita right now. He's a member, but he does not even know what is C2C. But he thinks he knows. Then he comes and says, the only thing I can do is save because I will make you straight. Muri very weak and shallow at the moment. I'm on a point. I need a narrow name. BhukuReBenzi, I'm the author, I'm the boss, I'm in charge. I don't need to narrow. Just like you too, Mawere. Once you Mawere wakaba mari, what wakomana, ndini Mawere washu, ndini grandfather, and this is Baba Washabani Mashawaman. Are you getting Mdara what I'm trying to say to you, Mdara? This is like a dissertation. I'm doing my presentation to you, Mdara. Muchirimpenyunas.
I hear you.
And again, say, I don't think this is fair. And I asked Masimba a direct question. He's answered you. And why is he answering you when you've not asked him a question? And again, he's avoided the question by waffling. And achingorotomoka achingobhabhauka achitaratira zvinhu zvaari kufunga kuti anokwanisa kundiprovoka kuti handise off track conversation inei. My question was a simple question that I asked him. What do you think iwewe chandinokublemera iwewe? Because you've been running your mouth saying that, hey, he's blaming me. What do you think I blame you for? Then wakutanga kuti hey, Samaita ndakavainvita panapa, which is wrong information again. Because you did not invite me before you invited Kuda. And I keep on saying this. Honor.
Okay, and
You are
maybe
giving wrong information. You are not answering my question. You are diverting to Mr. Maweri, not answering my question.
You know, Samaita, there was a time, my negotiations. When I go check out South Africa, Mandela, can we really talk to this man to find a way forward, knowing what the past or the rear view mirror holds? And if we can find it in ourselves to go over the pain of the past, the indignity of the past, then perhaps we can look each other in the eye and say to the community, what is it that divides us? And what is it that unites us? I don't see Samaita you to be saying, no, I don't want. You are saying, Mkoma Masimba, I've learned your lesson, but can you reflect on what happened so that we can get closer to it? Because the more you refuse to see the world through my own eyes, why force me to see it
in your eyes?
He is not arguing with you. He's saying that listen, Amataura. But let us take stock of how far we have come. We come here as equals. We are members as equals. If we have to go forward, no 2 ears can hold a mind so big that it can be the address of testing others. Should we build a community based on testing where one plays the job of Jesus, then we go to the scriptures to find Jesus never tested anybody. He just pulled his wagon. Others followed. Some were pissed off, while others were encouraged, inspired. From Kwamba Simba, is there not a cause to think so that the reason C2C exists becomes each and every one of us, rather than one person saying, inviting flies to meet and takes credit for embarrassing others, humiliating others, when it's not necessary to make a point. Samaita is coming from lived experience that if I have to talk about these things, Zimba Matenga, doesn't mean that there's no shit taking place. There is. But people decide to mask the shit in the interest of going forward.
Yeah.
So what is the forward gear? The forward gear is, let me use ears to listen. When I do so, I become a better person for myself rather than for others. If you are encouraging people to belong, it's like very expensive. Because there are many people who are peeping tops of life. They are window shoppers. And you say, why are you outside the window when you can be inside the shop? But they become experts of what is in the shop. Why would you want to be outside a community you already belong to? Do you have a choice to belong to a family? Who chooses their parents? Doesn't change anything. So I can't create myself. I can't give birth to myself. So I have no choice as to who belong to. Here we're trying to build a family from our own human connections. Samaita, are you willing to be part of that conversation on the basis of mutual respect?
Is that a question to me?
And not to God yet.
Well, for me, obviously, I've been very, 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 very respectful, especially today. He's thrown a couple of jabs to try and provoke me. It's not worked. I'm focused on the topic. I'm focused on my questions, of which I still don't get no answers. You've explained exactly what's happening there. I'm quite happy with that. Ona kuti so ndikiri panapa zvatiri kufokasa zvinhu zvakasiyana. Inini, the way that I'm asking my question, zvasiri kuziva ndezvoti every question is going to lead to something. It's a build up. I don't mumble and then just jump into conclusions and jump into name calling like I'm stupid, I'm slow, I'm this and that.
No, but already you're not answering my question.
What was your question?
Are you willing to be part of imperfect people in one WhatsApp group?
Obviously, because I think that is so in this world here, I deal with people's imperfections every single day and every time. No one's perfect.
Are you willing to also learn?
Yeah, if there is something to learn, if there's something new and something that's positive, because learning, you could learn is very toxic, you could learn is very poisonous, you could learn is very good. So I need to aware things to learn and things not to.
I'm saying you can't learn from life because life itself is like a movie. It's a rolling movie. I don't know what I don't know, but thank God I share what I think.
Obviously, I'm willing to learn. I'm obviously willing to learn. I learn every day. That's why I'm here. And this is why I've entertained this conversation.
No, you're already going again. Let's
3.5 hours.
No. Let's bury the past so that we can build the foundation of today.
I'm kind of willing to let that go, but that one there's two sides to it. Say, if we bury it, are we still going to be using the same routines, same everything?
No.
Then we are not fixing anything, isn't it?
No. I'm saying is we fix something by example. Because if today you agree that I'm going to do my show that focus on the lessons I've learned.
Yep, obviously. And I'm still going to do my shows, but not at his timing. I don't need him to tell me, you have to do a show. You're not doing a show. What are you doing? I do what I want to do at my own time.
Yeah, no, I'm also saying that the agency of acting now, because as you saw, there are people who came to the show to really kudira jecha. And they didn't come here. They came here to play the person, to play Messi, Ronaldo, rather than to enjoy soccer.
Yeah, like you, Mafu, if you're tired of me, get the fuck off. I didn't call you here. I'm not asking you to listen to me. You know, if you're tired of me, go somewhere else. You come back when I'm gone here. Chat shit.
So
Look what Mr. Mawere, right?
Yeah.
Samaita is a paid member with C2C.
Yeah.
Anyora comment as a paid member. Samaita is an ambassador. But when I but you fuck off,
Of
right?
course. What does
Is he
that mean? I see
building a
dictionary.
bridge
The word
or is building a wall?
ndakarinyora register dictionary. Aunduze zvekutaura iwewe. Urunzwa. And aunduze kuti ndoresponda sei kune munhu anenge anyora zvaanenge achida kwandiri. Inini I'm my own person. You need to stop doing that. Urunzwa. You do not have no right to tell me what to say. I say what I want to say whenever I want to say it. Where do you riri mudictionary? Hapana wausi zvandikutaura mawords andikucreate angu ega musoro mangu.
Okay.
Who are you to tell me that it's right to say and it's wrong to say? You told me it's a rule book. The C2C.
No. Samaita, you know what Joshua Ngomo said once?
No.
You imagine you wake up in the morning, early hours of the morning, you want to go to somewhere. So you woke up, you close the door, you start walking. The dog starts barking. What should you do? Go to the dog, listen to why it's barking, or keep going?
Okay, so there's also another way of dealing things. Some people fight fire with fire, and some people fight fire with water. They all do the same job. And even I've chosen not to use water on this one and use fire, but it's still going to extinguish that fire. We deal with things differently.
No. I'm saying is when we try to have civilization, we all come from the animal order, you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for us just to live in compressed things where freedom is no longer free, I can't just be nude and walk. I just have to dress even if it's hot. You know how powerful civilization is. That allows you to allow the dog to bark while you're going.
You might not take no action because of fear. Unokwanisa kutotya kutobvarirwa nembwa iyoyo. But kana uchida kuidisciplina mbwa iyoyo, unokwanisa kungoidisciplina futi kana une power racho.
But ukaenda kubva iyoyo ikakuruma uchaenda ka. The journey is finished.
Yeah. Iyo example iyo inosenza both ways. Kwandiri nini iri positive futi kune munyori kuti azive kuti ochika. Some people will react to your comment. It's not everyone that's just going to watch your comment and then just say, okay, I'm going to be civilized and I'm going to let it go.
For us, do you agree that the subsistence farmer and the commercial farmer, they come from two civilizations?
I'm not.
They are both human beings.
Yeah.
But they come from different, doesn't mean the other is inferior to the other. The one may work 4 months a year and you wait for the next rain. The other may be working daily. But doesn't mean the other one is superior to the other.
True.
But it's just different civilizations. Based on different promises. So let us focus on what we want to be. I can't build a city for slaves, you know that?
Yeah. Well, I hear you.
Yeah. I can't build a city of paupers.
Okay, ndara Samaita. Ndakuba kana upe kuno kusakuma past 3.
Yeah.
Can I be excused, please?
Phone yako hazinazonzwika pamwe mic yako Masimba.
No, I think we are living two different zones. I think let's release him The lessons are taken. Samaita, that's why we need mentorship. I think you would agree, Mkoa Masimba.
Yeah.
It's not
True.
easy to have a shared understanding.
Yeah. And it's always good. We can always agree to disagree.
That's part of life. I don't change
Yeah.
who you are by sharing stories. But you
Yep.
can change yourself.
Yep. In any, my argument wasn't on the context and what he had said, the lecture and all the lesson I learned it. I just said like you shouldn't tell me what words to use and what words not to use like that. Like I'm some child.
And you know, Samaita, what I learned? That
And what is it?
being a child is not such a bad thing.
I know.
You learn for free.
Yep.
But if you know everything, it's very expensive.
I know.
Nobody wants to teach you.
Yep. That's a fact.
So, Mkwama Simpa, I think you can close. You are the convener or you are asleep again. Or you are not learning. So, Samaita, you can see somebody's asleep.
Yeah. Again, he's put this bus in the bridge.
Yeah. So I think on that score, we can close it because the others are sleeping on the job.
Hello, Mr.
Yeah.
Bawere. And
Yeah.
Samaita, please stop accusing me. I excused myself. I told you guys, please, may I be excused? I'm not sleeping. And I left you
Well,
running the show. And again, you're now saying that
I'm provoking you to
buzz.
speak like what you are
No,
doing right
I
now.
said goodbye. I said, can I be excused? I asked you
all
for
right.
that.
Oh,
I
I
think
didn't hear you. I was saying
But-
I can't hear you because of your mic earlier on. So I
Because you didn't
totally
hear me.
missed that
So
bit.
why accusing me?
I missed that bit.
no, we wanted to check
But
whether the
Mr.
dog.
Mawere heard me.
I
And
was
Mr. Mawere
provoking
said it.
you to come here. I
Mr. Mawere,
deliberately did that. And
No,
deliberately said that.
Mkwama, I didn't hear you that you had disappeared. So that's fine. Now we have heard you.
thank you very much. I'll leave you
All
guys.
right.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye then.
Bye bye. So, Samaita, there we are. Let's keep on keeping on.
Okay. Yeah, let's do this. I'm on.
All right.
All right.